And we are back. Couch Company Podcast. I'm John. With me as always, Tyler.
I am always here with you. Every second of the day, really.
It's what keeps me going.
Samesies.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. Okay. Yikes.
No, but
I was going to go to Wisconsin, but now if you could die,
I'm not going to die.
well, you're going to stop. What does stopping mean? If it keeps you going, what does that mean?
Stopping is apathy,
Okay.
which some might regard as worse than death.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but sure.
I wouldn't go that far. I would say some might argue
people,
that.
Some really dramatic people.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably dramatic, but think about all that untapped potential that you're leaving on the table.
What are you talking about?
If you do nothing,
Yeah.
you're just potential.
Yeah.
Your potential energy.
So you're saying an apathetic person has more potential than a person trying stuff.
No, they have more untapped potential than a person trying stuff.
Yeah, but you
because
don't know.
doing stuff unlocks your potential.
Right, but it's Schrodinger's potential. If you're not doing anything, you could have the most potential of anyone in the entire world, but nobody can confirm nor deny that.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
But you can make assumptions, right?
Yeah, I mean, life is all about assumptions.
Yeah, but there's like genetic implications, I would imagine, that factor in. Like if your parents are both star athletes, like collegiate athletes,
Yeah.
one can infer that your potential to be a great athlete is much higher.
But you also have the potential to disappoint everyone dramatically more.
But that's different because that factors in people's expectations, which is how the fuck do you factor that in? You know what I mean? That's wild.
We started deep today.
I didn't think it was going to be deep, but
Okay.
we unlocked the submarine on this one. We're down there. But what was I saying? Oh, potential.
Yeah.
Dude, do you think there is, what if there was like a rating for potential? There was a tangible number.
You're going to talk about some anime now, huh?
No.
Oh, okay.
That sounds like
Yeah,
like a
that's
machine.
the start of an anime.
Yeah, exactly. There's a machine that rates your potential, and then the main character obviously would have zero potential, and he would like prove the machine wrong or something. That's how I see that.
You
going.
always like proving things. You're the main character, of course, right?
No, I have a limitless potential.
You have limitless potential?
Yeah, I think I'm the greatest human ever born.
Right, so they'd make you the main character.
Behind Jesus
Yeah.
and maybe Dale Earnhardt Jr., number 2.
Well, with or without the mustache?
With, of course.
Okay.
So I think I lock up the bronze medal in that category.
Yeah, but if you... Well, okay. I'll give you that.
You give me that?
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
That's fine.
Right?
I feel like you're doing yourself a disservice. Like, if you're already going to announce that you're third best human in the world,
Yeah.
you may as well just go all the way with it. Like, I don't know why you would...
No, I want to be accurate though. I don't want to be arrogant.
Yeah, but you don't know half... I mean, think about all these apathetic people just, like, sitting around not doing anything. You have no idea the potential that they have.
I know. If they did something that they loved, they might be the best.
About? Okay, yeah.
I don't know.
That's true.
I'm apathetic sometimes. I feel like everyone is.
Yeah, no, me too. Dude, this week has been the longest week where it doesn't end.
The perception of time.
That's a weird... Oh, don't get me started on that. You know what? I blame, and I don't have any scientific data to back this up.
I think we have all of the scientific data.
So Couch Company podcast
Yep.
officially blames daylight savings time as the sole cause for seasonal depression. Should I have run this by you before I put that on the thing?
Not the sole cause. But is it a factor? Absolutely.
I never feel down until we got that hour back, and then I have not felt right since then. It's been weeks. How many weeks has it been? 2, 3?
Right. And especially for people who work at home like us.
Yeah.
When we log off of our computer, it is dark outside.
Yeah.
It is pretty wild.
Yep.
So I think it plays a part, but there's no way that that's the sole cause.
No, I mean, you also have farmers.
Okay. I'm listening.
I mean, that's the reason for daylight savings time, right?
They just passed a thing. I don't think it's going to exist next year.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying the two things that cause seasonal depression are farmers and then by proxy.
I would say the sole reason is the sun, or the lack of the sun.
Yeah, the sun's kind of...
See, we're each in our own way Superman, where we need the sun.
I don't know. I feel like it's weird. Like, if the sun would just stand still versus going around us constantly, like, and we just have the sun all the time, I feel like that would be better.
But we go around the sun.
No.
You don't think so?
You believe that?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, that's a different conversation.
Do you think
Couch Company doesn't have a solidified opinion on that as a whole? We might be divided.
Do you think I was listening to Bill Burr today, and he was like talking about how these conspiracy theorists always try to talk to him about like flat Earth.
Really?
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, they try to sell me on it. They think it's like a bowl of ice cream or something. That's how he understands it, because I guess they talk about like the ice walls.
Yeah.
On the edge.
Look, man, all I'm saying is neither of us, like Schrodinger's apathetic cat, neither of us can 100% for certain say anything.
Yeah. But
that's it.
Dude, you have to have faith.
Yeah. But then why is the faith of a quote unquote round Earth more justified than a flat Earth?
Literally everyone agrees on that.
Yeah, well, sure. Everyone agrees that. Well, I got to be careful what I say.
Yeah, here we go.
I'll think of something. Oh, here we go. Everyone agrees that. Well, no, that's a future thing.
Did you hear that crack? That's the sound of us getting canceled.
No, that was my Yingling light.
Yeah, that was the liquid that's going to get us
stop.
canceled.
I'll roll that back a little bit. I don't know what I'm talking about.
No. But here's the thing. Okay, so if everyone agrees on a certain thing, right?
Here's the thing. Everyone agrees that cigarettes cause cancer, that they're bad for you,
because
right?
It's something observable. Just like the Earth being round is observable. Most of us have not observed it.
That's what I mean. I haven't observed it.
Actually, pretty much all of us have, because we've seen the pictures.
That's not observing anything.
What are you talking about?
Observing it would be real with your eyes. If I can go off pictures, man, then... Dude, every celebrity has been railed by every other celebrity, and Bigfoot exists, and I don't know, pictures are a lie.
Yeah, but why would they lie about the Earth being round? There's no point.
Dude, I don't pretend to understand what the overarching power of the world thinks. Here's
the essay of the week.
Okay.
Give us a pro round Earth essay or a dissenting opinion of a flat, or as Bill Burr would call it, an ice cream bowl shaped Earth. And we will read your essay and establish where the Couch Company stands on this issue.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair way.
I feel like we'll come together on that.
We'll leave it up to the audience. Best argument wins.
I could get behind that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And on a completely unrelated note.
And real quick, too, for the person that's listening and they're like, oh, I could write such a good essay, but then they're too apathetic to actually do it. Just do it. Just say, like, and then I'll know. Yeah. And then
you could be the best.
Argument.
You could be the greatest writer in history.
You could.
You just never tried.
Dude, I can't wait for there to be a space movie about a flat Earth.
Like,
just like nonchalant. Like, that's not the main thing of anything or whatever, but we shoot a rocket in outer space and they're looking at it. And instead of the normal, like, big shot of a globe, it's just a flat Earth. And it's not discussed. It's not, there is nothing in there. You just see it. I don't care what the rest of the movie's about. No one would stop talking about that. It would be the best thing in the world. That'd be hilarious. Like,
that's the greatest idea I've ever heard in my life. Because I just picture like this. They go up to space. They're like going on to like stop an asteroid or something,
exactly.
right? Like they're focused.
Yep.
But that one guy in the back, right, just looks over, sees the pizza disc, and he's just like, oh. And then right back to the movie. It's like that one.
Oh, man.
That is a fantastic idea.
That would be funny. Yeah.
Wow.
Or someone does all the science for it, but it's all the science as if the Earth was flat. You know, people are calling question into gravity now. I didn't click into that. I thought it was clickbait, but there was something going on where it's like, do we have gravity wrong? It's like, does Phoebe from Friends Like whenever she was like, I'm not feeling pulled. I feel like I'm getting pushed down.
Yeah.
What if, what if we don't have gravity, right? What if it's the sun? The sun is instead of you have the core and the gravity is pulling you in.
Mm-hmm.
What if the sun is actually pushing you down and keeping us on the planet?
I can't even engage in this anymore.
Okay.
This is getting off the rails.
Sorry. Yeah.
I think the essay thing will answer all of our questions.
I hope so.
If you would like to put an addendum at the end of the essay, citing the sun's pushing potential.
Well, that's a different essay. That'll be later on. Anyway.
Well, the sun's gravitational pull has got to be like 1,000,000 times stronger than the Earth's, right? That's why we float around it.
Maybe. You sure it's not magnets?
It could be magnets.
Could be.
All right. Anyways,
You can't. I mean, look, the Earth's core is theoretically metal.
Yeah.
So we say.
Mm-hmm.
And so is the sun. Just magnets.
I think the lizard people live there. We were discussing before the podcast that, the AI description that we were talking about, the fourth evolution of humanity is like lizard people. So
Yeah.
Tyler thinks they're aliens. I think they're already here. And
All I'm saying is if there's a race of aliens that comes down,
yeah.
we have two options.
Right.
We can fight them,
Yes.
or we can do the other F with them. Those are your two options.
That is true. It is.
I'm a lover, not a fighter. It's very easy for me.
It's binary. I would like to mention our favorite video game of all time is Mass Effect. I wonder why that is. It's so strange to me. I haven't figured it out yet. But when I do, I'll let you know. So,
Speaking of something,
I've been playing some video games, man.
that's awesome.
I've been playing some video games. I'm back in it, back in the saddle, as you might say,
Mm-hmm.
which is a horse riding terminology.
If you believe in horses, yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I do believe in horses.
Top 5 animals.
I think we said what did we what did we say? We said a specific type of horse.
Well, we said a horse.
We just said a horse?
We did.
We said a draft horse.
Yeah, but we said a horse,
Yeah.
and then a draft horse was placed in after we got ridiculed for just saying horse.
A horse, of course.
Yeah.
Well, the problem was we had like very specific animals,
Yeah.
like a golden retriever
Right.
instead of just a dog. And we felt that horse was a little too broad.
If you want to listen to our top 5 animals, go check that out.
Yeah, check that out. It was a great list.
was a good
Actually,
list, yeah.
we got ridiculed pretty hard about
Well,
that
look,
list.
they couldn't come up with something better, so they being, all the round earthers.
Okay. I've been playing video games.
Yeah. How have they been treating you?
They've been treating me well. Horizon has been fantastic.
That's good.
And this game came out in January, and I'm playing it now. So
That's less good, but still good that you are finishing it.
I am finishing it. But so far, it has been really good. There is one moment in particular where you're, I would say maybe halfway, maybe 40% through the game. And you're like doing your thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's an extension of the first game. And there's just like, oh shit moment.
Yeah.
And I can't spoil it because I would assume you're going to play the game at some point.
Yeah, whenever it comes to PC, I'll take a look at it.
But
Or whenever you sell your PlayStation.
dude, I can't. I'm actually using it now. The PlayStation's not bad, actually. It looks good.
Yeah.
1440p update, actually playable on my monitor now. So it actually looks really good. And the 60 frames, you can tell. But actually, after a while, you adjust. And it looks pretty good.
Gross.
It's not bad at all.
But okay.
I wouldn't say it's gross. 30 frames is absolutely gross. Like, I took a look at Arkham Knights, and it's actually just unwatchable.
I feel bad, and we'll let you talk about Horizon in a second. They just put out the DLC for Arkham Knights or some teaser or something.
Yeah.
And it's this CGI video of Batman fighting Ra's al Ghul
Yeah.
or Ra's al Ghul, depending on your pronunciation.
Sure.
And it looks bad. Like, it's like a pre-rendered, like, hey, this is this thing. And, like, all the Arkham games look so much better. Like, so much better.
I mean, you can identify that game was, from inception, just a complete cash grab.
Let's make a Batman game without Batman.
Hey, you know what would make money? Batman.
Arkham.
Yeah.
Let's trade on that name. Anyway, so tell me about Horizon. Horizon, they have the aha moment.
Well, yeah, so I can't spoil that. But I guess what I want to say is it's essentially the same game, right? I mean, you have a little bit more in-depth when it comes to the skills, the skill trees and stuff. You have like special moves now that you can unlock and perform, which are kind of cool. I only use the bow, as you know. So I went straight for the like hunter tier or whatever. So my bow shots do a lot of damage. But anyways, so that's kind of interesting. And then there's like special tools now. So there's like a grappling hook, which is kind of cool. Although it's not as good as like the Halo grappling hook because that's free fire. This one you have to have specific points where you use it. So that's kind of
it's like a Tomb Raider esque thing. Exactly.
And like here's the thing, Tyler. So it's the issue that a lot of these games run into where it's like, okay, we're going to do the same formula because that works and that's what people want. But we got to be innovative. Yeah. And, some of these things are interesting, but they really, at the end of the day, are just gimmicks, right? Like,
right.
I mean, it's nothing more than that. And also, speaking of that, I noticed the PlayStation controller, the kind of weighted trigger.
Yeah.
So if you were firing normally, maybe I'm just more aggressive, but you won't notice it. Because it's not going to be enough weight. But if you go slowly, I can definitely notice
like
the
tightens
pullback.
Up a little bit. Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
It is noticeable. But again, in the same kind of idea, it's like PlayStation's like, oh, we got to add something. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the move on the controller, where like PlayStation 3 came out with that, where the controller, you could like tilt it. And there were a lot of games that implemented that.
Yeah,
like you were balancing.
Yeah, like a beam or whatever.
It's just a gimmick. It's like not necessary. It's like
I feel bad for them because like and we'll touch on this later on, but like you're stuck between this rock and a hard place because you made such a fantastic game to begin with. It had so much stuff in it.
Yep.
That your two options are don't do anything new and then get called out for not doing anything new, or do stuff new and get called out as gimmicks because it's not like really integral to either the story or the gameplay or whatever, because like you said, you're just using the bow and arrow. So I mean, it's tough.
Look, at the end of the day, it is a gimmick. And if I was playing on a harder difficulty, I'm sure I could not get away with just using the bow. I mean, of course. So you have to keep that in mind. But a gimmick isn't horrible. It's not detracting from the gameplay, I would say, but it's not really adding any value. Like it's obvious they put it there to say that they've implemented a new or innovated the system somehow. You know what I mean?
Just like
it's for the trailers.
Exactly. A set piece they can show off at like a E3 or whatever.
Exactly. So it is cool. So, and then another aspect of that is the gliding thing. I don't know if you saw that, but you get like a glider. So that is like so OP. You can get to all these spots. And I don't know if they anticipated that, but so like you used to rappel down, big buildings, which you still can do, like the zip lines too. Those are completely obsolete now because you get farther with the glider.
Does the glider have stamina?
No.
Oh, well then that's
exactly. Like I was perfect. On the tallest point of the map and glided like all the way where I needed. Yeah. So
how does it look from far up? I know a lot of games, especially big ones like that, they run the risk of having this issue where if you're so far up, the game doesn't know how to handle it. Where like it just kind of looks like you can see where it's just like they cut some corners or things are popping in or it's patchy and stuff.
This game is fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And the thing, I think the way they do it is they're very conscious about what spots are the high points that you can get to. So like I was talking about, there was a specific, I think it's the tallest point in the game as far as I can discern. And there's like some treasure up there and stuff. So it's very intentional for you to get up there.
Yeah.
And the map looks beautiful. So like, obviously you're going to have texture boxes in the background of any game, right? Because it's not limitless. But the way it is pretty seamless into the foreground, the way
it's
they
like
do
curated. It. It's meant to. That's good.
And it's very mountainous as well. Like as you know, like the mountains are the edge of the map, right? Like the untraversable mountains. So it's very intentional like that. But I think they do a great job. The map's beautiful. The locations are very cool. It's really an extension of the first game. Everything they do well in the first game is present in the second game so far. But I think, and what it has surprised me is how invested I'm actually into the story. Like the story in the first game was cool and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But at the end, I thought, okay, well, where are they going to go from here, right? It's not entirely clear.
Mm-hmm.
But they do actually, it's very, very interesting what's going on. And I'm really curious to see how it ends. I'm planning on getting it done this weekend.
That's awesome. No, I mean, that's good. Like, I mean, we have about a month left, month and a half, month and like a quarter to get through some of the games that we have on our list. So like, that's a big one. And it seems like you're kind of hitting off the PlayStation stuff, and I'll hit off some of the Switch, Nintendo joints.
Yeah. So I'm definitely going to start up God of War immediately after I finish Horizon. I have to. I've seen a few things like on the internet about it. I'm very excited for that game. Obviously, I've heard great things. It's going to be interesting to see where that falls compared to Elden Ring, a little foreshadowing for what we're going to talk about. But I'm also, there's a couple other things like Gran Turismo 7 I'll check out as well. Just to see. I know that was pretty high up. So what Tyler and I have done, what Tyler's done is put together something on our Notion board where we kind of take a look at OpenCritic, which is a website that kind of gathers in all of the top critics, I guess, right? And compiles an average score. So we're just looking at the top scores from that and making sure that...
jumping off point. I mean, there are some that I played that maybe don't necessarily hit our threshold, but it was like either a quick game or free or whatever, and it was pretty good.
Well, Modern Warfare is an example, right? Like Modern Warfare is not even in the highest tier on that website, which is very interesting. The most hours,
several hours. Yeah. I think I hit 30
hours.
Which I don't. So I think there is an error there where it just runs in the background even when it doesn't. Like Kyle's a perfect example, unless Kyle's literally been playing it all day, which he very well might have. It just says like he's in COD HQ, like just for the entire day. So I think the game does something in the background.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I mean, there's so many fucking bugs with that game, with the UI. Like, I wouldn't be surprised by anything.
I don't know if I said this on the air last week, but I wish my nephew had the actual game. So just for a couple matches, I could feel like a god. Just to be like, hey, here's my 40 kill streak. How do you like that?
Yeah, no, you're actually extremely good. Like Tyler would just pull out a chopper gunner out of nowhere. We're just like, what the heck is going on?
It's fun.
But is there anything that is still on your list? I mean, Tyler has played 95% of the games.
Oh, did you bring up the list? I sent you a note that should let you in on it.
Oh, Jeff's on here too.
I was testing. Yeah, I was seeing if he didn't play a ton, but he put a couple scores in there to keep us honest.
So what killed Jeff? Friend of ours.
Yeah.
Streamer. Check him out on Twitch.
As far as stuff that I am looking at or still need to play, I've played it. Well, to be fair, I played most of these. So I think,
I played Tiny Tina's. I need to add my scores. So
yeah, I do want to finish Return to Monkey Island. That's a little bit more narrative, but I want to try that out. And I definitely want to get the Stanley Parable done. Those are kind of my two big ones. And then the Mario Rabbids game. People are saying a lot of good things. I love the first one, so I'd like to try that. People are not saying the best things about Pokemon. I don't even know. So Pokemon came out today. I don't even know what the score is actually. I can look that up real fast. But it's kind of on like a really bad end of the spectrum in terms of like performance and stuff, which is not what you want in a Pokemon game. But it's also Pokemon, so like the fact that it's under an 80 is kind of scary. It's sitting at a 76, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet right now.
Is that a purple tier or?
That's purple, yeah.
Okay, which is I forget what it's called, but that's like their second tier.
Yeah, I mean it's let's see, it's called Strong. It's considered a strong game.
Yeah, and here's the thing. So OpenCritic is pretty interesting, and I kind of want your opinion on this as well. So I frequently have discussions with Tyler where, something like a Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty well known scoring place.
Yeah.
I don't know how else you would call it.
Sure.
I frequently find myself putting more value in the audience score than the critic score.
Yeah.
For that. And of course, this site is different because it's literally just critics. Now, your argument, I guess, is there's so many critics that it'll average out and you'll get a true score.
Yeah, I forget what their like criteria is to have the score. Honestly, we should probably see if we can get on there. Yeah, I think there needs to be some sort of like number of reviews written and stuff like that, which is great. But they do have the critic and a pretty high number of them. They're like, it's not all just like, here's IGN, GameSpot, which they're on there. But they do like lesser, smaller company. I don't want to mention any because I don't want to throw shade at smaller reviewers, but still, like they have like some YouTubers and different things like that. So my thought process there is at least there are some credentials. So whenever I'm looking at a score, I know for a fact it's not being like just review bombed into oblivion because someone's mad that, you know, Starfield's only on Xbox or something like that.
Right.
So that's one of the arguments I have. The other argument would be typically what I'll do is I'll look for sites or specific reviewers that I typically line up either like, you know, like play style. That's not the right word, but like people that play like I do or that I agree with certain things. So people that are just like, oh, Borderlands sucks. It's like, okay, well, I think Borderlands is pretty good. So like we're not hitting the same stride there. So I don't know. I see it both ways. With me, with the Metacritic, the reason why I like Metacritic is they don't have it where, everyone gave it a 10.
OpenCritic or Metacritic?
I'm sorry, OpenCritic.
Okay.
OpenCritic, they take a percentage, and the way that they scale it is throughout the year, the number of games that are, you know, in the top tier. It's like this is the top 10% of games you should play.
Right.
So let's say in a weird universe, all the games are like 7s and below. Like no one makes a great game in 2023.
Right.
Technically, the highest rated of the 7s, the 10%, would be considered mighty games.
I see, yeah.
Now we know that doesn't happen, so the system kind of just works, but I think that's an interesting take on it where it's not this like set in stone scoring.
So the ratings like mighty and strong and I forget what the other ones are.
Yeah, so like how we have like platinum, gold, and things. Yeah,
they shift based on the landscape of
theoretically. Now every year there's going to be your 90s, your 96s. So typically they're more or less set in stone.
Right.
However, in the off chance that nobody makes a good video game in a year,
well, there are fluctuations, of course.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Now, here's the problem I have with it. So I'm looking at. Of course, we based ours off like the top, the mighty games, I think we said, right? Mm-hmm. So that's like 100 to like 90 or something, or 88 or something, or mid 80s, whatever it is. And you have some of these games that sometimes, they're DLC. So, you know, that's challenging in and of itself. But for example, right now, the number 2 spot is Portal Companion Edition. Mm-hmm. And while, you know, it's a strong port to the Nintendo Switch, the actual problem I have with it is the number of reviews are far lower than a game like Elden Ring above it, or equal to it, I should say, where literally everyone's reviewing that game, right? So
sure.
The problem I have with that is, you know, you might think that people who are reviewing this game or this port of a game are seeking it out specifically and thus might have a more favorable viewpoint on that game, right? And you're maybe not getting the most accurate reporting on it.
I mean, that's certainly a thing. Like if you're looking at, I mean, Pokemon's a fantastic example where one of the few reviews, because a lot of people, the reviews are still in progress because it's such a big game apparently. But one of the reviews are like, oh, what does Nintendo Life say about Pokemon? Like, okay, with a name like Nintendo Life, right? I'm sure they're gonna be a little biased.
But they also reviewed Portal.
Yeah, because they do everything
Nintendo, which makes sense. But
I don't know. I think my main kind of pushback on that would be a lot of ports like that I wouldn't count as far as like Game of the Year material or anything like that. Like I don't think the companion stuff deserves to be in there.
No,
but then also like, you know, how does like indie stack up into the larger conversation? Like when I look at a site like OpenCritic or even Metacritic or something, like it do they cut deep? Like I've maybe had 2 or 3 games over the course of however many years I've looked at OpenCritic. They just didn't show up on the search. So I thought that was actually kind of interesting. Now they might not have, like to your point, like 1 million reviews, but also enough that like if I want to learn more about it, if I want to dig a little bit deeper, I can find that. And it honestly opens me up to a lot of people on like a YouTube or other critics that I maybe didn't know about that I'm like, oh, I thought the same thing. That's interesting. And like now I can kind of relate to a specific individual versus like a big company like IGN.
Right.
I don't know. I guess in the long run, it doesn't really matter as long as you like the game. Like it just, I find that the audience score for me personally is like, okay. I mean, like it's the internet. I feel like you're always going to have your people that hate something and love something. And does the middle ground people or like the non-extremists, so to speak, do they outweigh those two factions? Maybe they do. Maybe everything's perfectly balanced because there's enough of everyone, but that's the thing I always worry about. I'm rambling now, so that's kind of my thoughts.
I think that's a fair point. You know, when you get the audience score, like you say, you're going to get extreme examples of it. I tend to feel like, and I have no evidence to support this, that things do even out. I mean, if you look at something like Metacritic, right, where you have an audience and a critic score, sometimes it's pretty interesting about the differences. So I find it kind of fascinating, comparing those two different scores. But I think it's important to look at the curve of what the scores are when it comes to the audience, right? You're going to get a bunch of 10s, you're going to get a bunch of 1s, especially on like polarizing games. But where the median is going to tell you a lot, I think.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, if you have a whole bunch of people giving a game a 10, do you take and we're actually going to talk about a game that is a shining example of this.
Sure.
But do you take that with more, do you sit up and take note of that more than if, like, say, like IGN is like, hey, this is a 10?
Absolutely, because I've seen IGN give like Madden a 10, like recent Maddens.
See, I view it the other way, where it's like I would hope, well, maybe IGN's a bad example, but like I would hope that a publication like that, they're not just giving out 10s left and right. Like you'll see a lot of like 95s, 98s, different things like that. And they'll kiss it, but they're not maybe like they didn't get Madden making out with a 10, like. But
it was such an egregious example of this score is blatantly too high. Like Madden has sucked for years.
Yeah.
Just non-biasedly. Like,
I don't know.
It's just factually, it's just not good. I mean, you have games literally 15 years ago, Madden, that had more game modes, better animations, worked on launch, things of this nature, and you have IGN giving them high scores. I think very recently, they've started to trend on giving them less than high scores, but it just seems weird to me. Like,
it all depends on the people, man. I think that's at the end of the day. It all depends on.
Well, there's a serious problem, right? There's a serious problem when you have a reviewer who relies on getting review copies, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to incentivize them not to completely bomb the game, right?
And that's a good point against my argument of like smaller reviewers, because I would argue, and I don't want to call into question anyone specific of like, oh, your integrity is in question or anything like that. But I think as a smaller reviewer, it would be harder to put yourself on a limb like that and not trash a game, but say, if you're giving a game a 6 or something, you got it for free. Well, crap. Like, the back of your, it's human nature not to be like, oh, okay, like think product reviews and different things. It's the same thing.
No, I understand 100%. I mean,
but also IGN, no one's going to stiff IGN. Right?
No, like IGN might. Well, I think something more sinister might be coming out with IGN at that point.
Fair enough.
But you're exactly right. For a smaller reviewer, you might be afraid. Understandably so. I'm sure I would be faced with the same quandary if something like that were to happen, where you're putting at risk your potential for the ability to review.
I mean, when I was doing curator reviews, and that's even a little weird because it's not fully out, right? So it's like, okay, they want me to look at this and review it and put it out on a curator thing.
Yeah.
I would be honest with them and say like, okay, look, I will play this. If I don't like it, I'm not going to say anything. And that's the compromise, right? Like, I'm not going to trash your game and say this game is garbage, because if the game's not out yet, you have every opportunity to fix it. I will give you feedback on the game and what I liked and what I didn't like and that sort of thing. But I'll only put something up of like, hey, this is actually a really fun early access title or something. Like, you should go play it or something like that. But I would say more often than not, I'm just like, hey, fix your UI, or hey, there's like no mouse support on this thing, and you just have to keep. So stuff like that. I think there's like a middle ground there too, but I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you have to be tactful. I don't think reviewers should ever be in fear of giving their honest opinion, though. I mean, you should be able to say exactly how you feel about something without fear of losing the ability to review it, right?
Yeah, well, and I think it goes both ways, where a lot of the game companies won't be... Like, there are plenty of game companies that can take criticism, right?
Yep,
and it'll be fine. There are plenty that can't. So it's just, it goes both ways.
Yeah, no, it's a tough balance for sure. I mean, and there's no perfect way to do it, right? There will always be some bias, unconsciously probably, right? In some respect, like,
well, is IGN, like, I mean, I know we keep going back to that. They're just the biggest one, right? Maybe GameSpot. But it comes down to, like, if I'm reviewing a Pokemon game, or if I'm the editor and I'm like, all right, one of my guys has to review a Pokemon game, and, Jane Smith is the craziest, biggest Pokemon fan ever. Cool. Here you go. Like, for good and bad, right? Like, if it's a okay game, but she loves Pokemon and nothing can be bad for it, like, okay, like,
right.
Maybe the story gets a little bit higher. Or on the flip side, maybe she holds it to a higher standard and rates it poorly if it's not exactly what she wants. And so I don't know. You have to take everything with a grain of salt, which is why I keep going back to, like, find the person that you most relate to and watch them, support them.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And of course, like, different games will speak to different people, right? So some will be higher to certain audiences than others. But I do think there are some tangible things that make a quality game across the board, right? Like,
for sure,
how a game looks, how it's acted, how the UI is, like you said, does it work?
Yeah.
There's some pretty concrete things that across the board, any gamer would be able to agree that that makes a solid.
How do we start talking about this? What were you saying?
I think we're going through, the games we're kind of playing for the end of the year in preparation. I think, at this, we're going to have a show where we kind of go over our kind of games of the year in different categories. And
ideally we get some fun categories that maybe aren't like a 1-to-1 with the Game Awards or something like that.
Well, in our conversation, I was thinking best port.
That'd be a good one.
It's interesting.
Sure.
They definitely don't do that one, but
I think one of the things that I would like to do too, and I'm not saying we have to do it this year, but I would love to get some games that were new to us in the year too. Like, maybe have that category too, where it's like, hey, best not released, like best game not released in 2022 that we played, right?
Yep.
And then the only stipulation there is we had to have played it for the first time.
Right. Yes.
Anyway.
No, I think that's good.
Yeah.
So, be on the lookout for that. That's exciting. I think that'll be really, really cool. And we'll talk through that, what categories we want to have. But playing Horizon right now, going to play God of War. And before the end of the year, I'm hoping to get maybe one more in. Not sure what it's going to be, though.
Well, not to... we'll see what happens. But the 40K Warhammer, the Dark Tide, that comes out soon. I think it's on the 29th.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be multiplayer. That's from the people that made Vermintide, so I'm very excited to try that out. So that's something we could play. That's on Game Pass. You have the Requiem on Game Pass. Like, there's a lot. I mean, honestly, even Return to Monkey Island, I would love for you to play, like, maybe like the first hour and just see if that's interesting to you at all.
Yeah, I think...
Or we just play Call of Duty for the next...
We might play Call of Duty for the next 30 days, but I think I have to play Elden Ring, as we were discussing before.
Yeah.
Just so we don't lose all of our audience.
That's fair. Look, going back to picking the person that you most identify with, I fully understand that there are people that would consider my opinions on different games, like, oh, that lines up perfectly with what I'm thinking. As also people would want to, lynch me for not enjoying Elden Ring.
Here's the thing. I need to play the game.
Yeah.
Or we need to invite someone on who loves the game.
Yeah. Hey, look, Jeff loves the game.
Exactly. So Jeff would need to come and defend the game before we lose every single person who listens to us.
I have some questions that I actually would love to get a defense on.
I do need to play it though, because I haven't played it. So like, how can I have an opinion on something I haven't played? So I definitely need to play it at least a little bit. I probably won't beat it. It's like, dude, I was on howtobeat.com and it's like 50 hours.
Yeah, it's just
for the story.
Shrugging emoji. Like, I don't know, just keep playing it.
Yeah, it's like, what? It's insane. That's crazy. Usually stories, like just the story.
In my mind, you should not have to fight a boss 300 times before you can beat it. That's just me.
Yeah, no. Like I've said before, I have Horizon currently on easy mode, not story mode. Okay, if it was on story mode, it'd be even easier. So
yeah,
put a little respect on my name.
You want to be able to watch. You want something to take like 2 hits.
Yeah, dude, I was on story mode in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, it didn't matter what fucking element you used. You could go up and slap a Thunderjaw with your stick.
Yeah,
and it
just flows. Yeah,
it was fantastic.
Awesome.
No, it was so fun.
I'm telling you, man, that's the way to play.
I love it. People, I don't understand. Like, I understand some people like a challenge.
Sure,
dude. I had a shitty day at work. All I want to do is just be an absolute god.
Yes,
and just destroy all the machines.
I know we have a lot to talk about. So the Warzone and DMZ and Tier 1 and all this stuff showed up in Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
And DMZ is a perfect example where it's the quote unquote Tarkov version. It's not Tarkov at all.
I refer to it as Tarkov Light.
Yeah, but so I don't know if you remember, and I'm sure I said it at some point when you're talking about Tarkov and how like mind-numbingly difficult it is.
Yeah.
And how it just kicks your ass and that's half the fun to a lot of people. But for me, it was I am waiting for the Fortnite version of this game. Meaning, okay, PUBG was very tough, and then Fortnite came out and ate its lunch, and now it's the biggest thing since, sliced bread or bread in general. And with Call of Duty, it's kind of the same thing where like you have Tarkov and it's this crazy thing. But then in Call of Duty, it's like, okay, yeah, what if you didn't have to worry about all of your management? And what if you could just go in, the missions were very clear on what you had to do. You had a map, you could see all your buddies, you know exactly what you're working on, and you just go in, you get your stuff, you go out. And I just learned from the ex-research department that if you bring a gun back with attachments, you just unlock those attachments. It's like, oh, okay, that's a reason to play this mode. Like, that's all I want. Like, it's the arcade version of Tarkov.
You've been enjoying it then?
Yeah. I mean, we played through the first, we did a stronghold and went through and murdered everyone and got some documents and exfilled and stuff. We haven't seen anyone yet. So it's like, we've just been killing bots, but it was fun up to that point. And I think that the one time actually I lied. We saw like one person, but like we ran into a juggernaut and then we're like running around. We're like, we gotta get out of here. We gotta get out. Like it's fun. It's just dumb fun. And it's very much like Warzone. It's just, it's a honestly, even like a Warzone light type of thing.
Yeah.
But it feels real good. And it's like Ground War is Battlefield. It's like Call of Duty is taking from all these different things and they're just like, oh yeah, we have mode for that. Like, yeah, fine, sure.
No, it is very impressive, right? Like, like you exactly said, it's like, oh, you like that game? We'll just play it Call of Duty skin.
Oh, you want, I don't know, third person? Sure, right. Here you go, whatever.
Well, they did have third person back in the day.
Yeah.
So that is a returning feature, which I haven't tried, but I know that some people really enjoy that.
Yeah, my cousin loves it.
Yeah. I played DMZ and didn't like it because I got wrecked.
Mm.
But
did you play solo?
No, I played with my cousin. But here's the thing, dude. Like, for me, and this is the beauty of it, like you're talking about, I literally just want to play normal Call of Duty. Although I really enjoy Ground War as well, but like, I want to play just Call of Duty online.
Yep.
And the beauty of it is you can. Like if you can, it's for whatever you want. My worry is as the player base drops off, are you going to be like, we're going to quickly find out which are the less popular game modes? And
probably, yeah.
Like, for example, last night we were playing Shoot House at a specific time. It was pretty late, and we were having trouble finding an enemy team. Yeah. Now, is that just a bad luck? Could be, but there's a real possibility that not as many people are playing that game mode because it's specifically Shoot House.
Yeah.
That map 24/7, right? So I don't know. It's kind of curious about that.
And it was good. Like I think it's a good remake of a map. Yeah. Like it's exactly what you want. But yeah, I agree with you. I think the beauty there is whenever I go to, and maybe this is just where we fall in the kind of spectrum, where it's like we like regular roles of Call of Duty, and we like domination. And those will not go out of sync or out of style, so to speak. So like, I think we're fine.
No, you're 100% right. Here's the thing, Tyler. This game is a referendum on. They want you to feel like it's 2012 or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
Modern Warfare 2 came out. Like they're trying to get you back there. I mean, look at the campaign, for example, how they structure it.
Yep.
You know, all the Easter eggs they put in and all that, right? And that's how we play as well. We play domination. We play standard Call of Duty because that's what it was back in the day. So I think you're right. I think
ranked is going to burst a lot of bubbles. I think I'm going to get taken down a peg. But up to this point, I like how it puts me on the skill level where it's like, oh, we're just going to wreck people. Normally, I would say we win a lot overall.
Yeah, here's the beauty of Call of Duty, man. It makes you very differently than a lot of other games. It has an ability to make you feel better than you are.
Yeah.
Right, like you said. Like once the rank comes out, I think you're exactly right. I think we're all going to realize we're terrible and bronze and terrible. But in normal, like, and here's the thing, there's other people where that's happening as well. I mean, think back to when you're playing the game and like there's someone on the other team who's just going wild. Like we were playing that one game the other day and that dude got like an AC-130 and all of this shit, right? And we brushed it off and we queued up again and played the next game because it's quick and it was out of our mind and we didn't feel terrible about ourselves. But from that person's perspective, he's feeling the same way you're feeling, right?
Yeah, where you're a god of the game and you just want to play another one to feel even better.
Exactly.
I mean, the last game we played the other night, we just got absolutely just stomped on. And that's the worst way to go out, right? Like we need to start making it a point that if we have just a banging game, it's like, all right, that was the last one. Like go to bed on a high note and just think that you're the best ever.
Well, we did, and you said we needed to play another.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. That's my fault. Yeah, I get that, and I was punished. Like it's totally fine, but it's stuck with me. It's the same thing with like something like a Sea of Thieves, where if we turn in like a huge haul of loot, feels amazing.
There's always a natural.
Speaking of, Sea of Thieves, season 8.
Yeah,
they added PvP in the world. So you know how you have your normal world?
Okay.
You can literally, there's an hourglass on your table now, and you're like, hey, I want to just go fight somebody. And you pick either like the quote unquote good guys, like the pirate legends, or the bad guys, like the Reapers. You're like, I want to fight.
Yeah.
So what it does is you hit I fight, your ship goes underwater for like a minute and a half while it finds a person for you, and then you pop up into their game and attack them.
Yeah.
But in a small confined space.
Yeah.
Where you have to just fight in this open water engagement.
Mm.
And if they try to run, they automatically sink, or vice versa, right?
Okay. But they've queued up as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like anyone that wants a PvP thing, and like you get extra rewards and money. Like it's like, see, they're doing some stuff. They're listening to the community. Like I'm very excited for that. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, I hadn't installed that game, but
I know, but it would. Can you imagine the content there? If now you don't even have to go hunting for anyone.
Yeah.
Now it's literally like, hit the hourglass. We're gonna, and you just go.
Yeah, no,
that's gonna be hilarious.
The only way I play that game is if I'm captain.
Yeah.
and I get to do whatever I want.
That just popped up today, and I'm very excited for it.
If you meet those requirements, we will play that.
Sure.
And we can put that up on YouTube.
Mike Bear might be upset with you, but we will do this.
Your cousin, or your nephew, I should say, was very surprised.
He was,
to say the least.
Yeah, he was a little confused there on.
He didn't
why
understand
this guy was captain.
The value of the apples.
That's true. Or that there even was apples in the game.
There aren't.
Yeah.
I was being fed coconuts, which is an egregious offense by my crew.
Yeah. That's all we got.
That's our mission, though. We're on a quest for an apple. And it's a never lasting.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to like derail from Call of Duty, but that popped in my mind of like, at the end of the day, you want to play how you want to play.
Yeah, of course.
And I think that more games that let you do that, unlike Elden Ring, that's really the moral of the story, right? Like,
well, dude, I think I figured out when I play Elden Ring, I am going to be a ranged class. And there's this thing you can send out, which is like a decoy that the bosses attack.
Yeah.
And people don't use it because they view it as cheating, quote unquote.
Oh, so you're just going to cheat.
100%.
Yeah.
That's my easy mode.
That's a good point.
I'm going to fucking put that out. The boss is going to do that. I'm going to snipe him. I'm going to win really easy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to probably love the game.
That's a good point.
That's a fantastic point. I'm going to play how I want to play. Exactly what you said. So, and speaking of Sea of Thieves, I've talked about this before, but man, a hardcore mode on Sea of Thieves is what I want. You spawn into the world. Okay. And you have one life.
Yeah.
And when you die, you lose all your loot. You're done with that world. It's like, what was that game you guys were playing? The vampire game?
V Rising.
V Rising, yeah.
Yeah.
Where like everyone gets in a world and it's like you have to log on and off. You have to if it was like that, that would be so. You have your crew.
That would be crazy. Like your ship is just persistent. So like
Exactly.
you would have to like find like a.
You start off with
like
your
barricade
friends.
yourself in.
So you start off with your friends as a squad of like 4 or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And there's X number of squads in the entire world. And then there's NPCs and all that other shit too, right? Mm-hmm. But you start off with nothing. Okay, you start off with a little dinghy. And then you steal ships or you do jobs and you buy a ship, right?
Build your own.
Build your own. Exactly. The feeling of accomplishment to have a ship of your own. You know, you get a galleon or whatever the biggest one is, a frigate or whatever. After all that hard work.
Yep.
Like that would feel, it's so easy to get a ship, that's not the point. But I'm just saying like in a hardcore mode where everything's on the line.
Yeah.
And you're able to work your way up. I think that would be so cool.
Dude, imagine if you didn't even need a ship. Like imagine if instead of going the ship route, you just were like, I'm just going to build up this town, fortify all the defenses, and make like a fort.
As always, all of our theory crafting turns into Star Wars Galaxies, but
no, well, I'm not. Look, it's all combat based. But
dude,
what I'm saying
what if I could just be a bartender?
Yeah,
man?
what if I could just be a hairstystist? No, I'm just saying like you could be, because that's very Sea of Thieves. You could have like a trading company, and you could be the trader versus, the pirate.
I think you're exactly right. And when you allow those types of things, like all you have to do as the game designer is allow it. You allow these things, and then the gaming community will develop what the meta is.
There is a taxi driver in Warzone. Did you see that?
No.
There's a guy that refuses to take sides or fight in Warzone. And all he does is he grabs a bunch of gas cans, finds a car, and just drives around looking for people. And provided that they don't murder him on sight, he's like, hey, I'll be your taxi driver. Where do you need to go?
Yeah.
So then now you don't need to worry about one of your squad having to drive or do anything. He's just very good at driving and will just get you to your destination.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and it's in the game and it's amazing. And then like now people like are starting to like, okay, you read that story. If a guy comes up to us and he's like, hey, I want to like, of course, like people want new funny experiences they can tell their mates about, right? So like that's the whole point is it's this emergent stuff. So like put it in your game.
And here's the thing, Tyler, if you have a game like that, let's just say the world, you spawn into this world and it's blank, for lack of better terms. Maybe there's some stuff, some NPC stuff.
Yeah.
But you can literally, like you said, colonize a town and build it up from the ground up. Yeah. And that becomes the biggest central hub in the game. And now if someone kills you, that'll spark a complete war on the server.
Not to keep bringing it back to Star Wars Galaxies, but that was what. So they had Outer Rim planets.
Yep.
Like fringe worlds that did not have like actual like trading posts and different things like that. People had to go there and you had to have a politician go in, plot out the city, build up the city, and only after a set amount of time, as it grows and builds, and they have all these new trading posts and cantinas and different things like that, can people go there, and then it will ping up that says like, oh, here is this player-run settlement. This is open for business, or this is a hostile place, or this is a friendly place, like whatever. And you can like align your factions and different things like that, and you can have NPCs on there. Like, it's amazing. But that's the kind of stuff that I think players will take to, because at the end of the day, a studio is never going to churn out enough content fast enough for a majority of players. So then if you get it, just look at Minecraft. Okay, sorry, here. Like, they might come out with, and I'm not saying Minecraft people aren't coming out with stuff all the time, but like, when was the last time they came out? Well, that's a bad example because I think they just came out with something special. But how long did that take in between things where, Fortnite's going to be the fastest season they've ever had because they're just cranking through content so fast, and they're adding new characters and weapons and things, and just because people are insatiable. So if you take that off of your developers and put that, like, focus on the foundation, let your players run it, obviously with checks and balances, but that'd be
right.
That's
exactly.
The way to go.
Yeah. I just think it's so fascinating how the natural landscape of it develops too.
I mean, you want people thinking about your game after they play it, right? So like, there are a couple ways of doing that. Is either it's so fun, you're just like, oh, let me tell you about the sweet experience I had, or they take a sense of ownership of whatever. Oh, I built this town, I have to make sure to log on to make sure it's safe, or oh, I want to jump on with so and so on the DMZ to help them complete X mission or something like that. But like, that's the thing, is they take ownership of it, and then they're thinking about it long after they've logged off. And then they're like, that's the entire day of working, and then they finally get to log back on and do stuff, or they have time to think of even better ideas to bring to the table. I don't know.
No, I think you're exactly right with that. That's like the dream. I mean, to me, that is what the perfect MMO is, right?
Yeah.
It's just a limitless experience where the world is dictated by the players.
To me, yeah, like less focus on combat. Plenty of combat if you want it. Less focus on combat.
I think the worry is, is there going to be enough people that are interested in that? And they might surprise you based on like the stories that you tell. If it's fun, it has to be an engaging experience.
Yeah, and it's tough because, like, especially with that, like, you have people that are just AFK grinding away. And Star Wars Galaxies was exactly the same thing. So, like, can you make it where it's more rewarding in less time? That's the tough thing, is because people obviously want you to continue to play their game. And if you just max everything out so fast, people go away from it. Yeah. So how do you make it fun and engaging where AFK is not a thing, but also long enough that people feel like they got their money's worth, or that they put extra time in and they feel accomplished because of it? Yeah,
it's tough. I mean, we've had this conversation.
Yeah, we don't have to
times,
rehash it again.
I think in that sort of scenario, you need to lock other things out. Like, as you get stronger in one area, some other abilities started to get locked out as you specialize.
Yeah.
And then that encourages you to work with other players. Like you were talking about, you need a politician to found a town, right? So now you're the specialist. And we talk about this a lot in games. You want to feel special. This is something that I loved about Battlefield, right? Where I always played the medic. And even if I was having a shit game, I had no kills, I always have my defibrillators, and I can always revive my teammates and feel like I'm adding purpose and value onto the battlefield itself, right? And 100%. The same thing goes for an engineer repairing vehicles or shooting down enemy vehicles, whatever the case may be. It's things like that where you feel like you're unique and you have a specific goal, objective, or purpose in the game that, I don't know, to me, that adds infinite value.
You feel like you've affected the outcome of whatever. And to be completely honest, as much as I love Call of Duty, like the ground war there, I have not felt that.
Me neither.
Where it's like, okay, I am one of 60 people or however many they have going on. And it's just like, yeah, I'm contributing to the overall kills, and I might even be on the top half of the leaderboard or whatever. But I don't feel like if I wasn't there, the outcome would be different. Where there were plenty of times at Battlefield where I'm like, I murdered like 20 tanks or something like that. And you feel powerful that way.
And it's not that I actually very much like ground war in Call of Duty.
No,
I think it's very fun. Yeah. But to your point, I think a team cohesion, like when you feel that in the old Battlefields, like you're playing Bad Company 2, and you have a squad, one of each class, working in perfect harmony, right? There's just nothing better than that. You have a support player giving you ammo. You have your medic reviving people. Your sniper's off, just killing the enemy. I mean, there's a facet of that too. You need people who are just good.
Well,
right?
yeah, that's too.
So
sure.
I don't know. I always like really enjoyed that. And
maybe I'm just wrong on the ground war situation, but you need the Warzone and DMZ like ping system and different things like that in the map. I think you need that in ground war. And to be fair, I never clicked the middle mouse button, so maybe you can ping, but
I don't think so. I think it's just the standard like the standard mode.
Yeah, it just feels like Call of Duty bigger, and I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing.
I enjoy it, but I do wish there was a little bit more of those elements. I think the ping system, like you mentioned,
some strategy,
is very good. But the fact that there's no set classes, you can make your own class, and I'm sure a lot of people like that, right? They can do exactly what they want to do. They can pick exactly what gun they want, abilities, equipment. Yeah. But I think on the flip side of that argument, there is something special about being a specialized class, right? Where you only have access to that.
Maybe we give Battlefield another go.
No.
It is going to so two things. One, it's going to Game Pass, and two, they're actually bringing classes back.
Oh, really?
So I
didn't even realize they got rid of classes.
Well,
what a stupid idea.
Based off like operators and stuff. It was dumb. But that's kind of funny, and that's kind of like a Fallout 76 thing where it's like, hey, we have NPCs coming back. Like, oh, okay, like. Isn't that like a staple of the game? Like, so I don't know.
Wild, yeah.
Yeah. So. Anyway, speaking of games,
the Game Awards just came out with their list of nominations for each category. So we thought it'd be fun to, in preparation for our own Couch Game Awards.
We'll have to come up with a cool name for that.
Yeah, we will.
All right.
You can do better than Couch Game Awards?
No, probably not.
Probably not.
I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go. Whatever. I'll break out the old thesaurus.
Dude, you remember the card game I came up with? Thesaurus.
Yeah. I do.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Oh man, we should do that. Yeah. We're never going to do that, but that's a great idea.
The Sophies. The Sofa-ease.
The Sophies.
Workshop it.
Isn't that something? All right. So anyways, we want to go through the Game Awards nominations very heavily. We told you we're a gaming podcast. That's what it says on Spotify.
Yeah. Spotify gave us a like a tank, like just a graphic of a tank, and it was on empty in terms of game content. And they're like, hey, look, if you don't fill this sucker up, we're delisting you on the games. And it's like, whoa, it up. Yeah. So I
didn't know that until right now. But thanks for telling me.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, it's fine.
Damn, that would be awesome.
I think we're actually under like leisure or something. Like that.
Okay.
So it's fine.
Well. All right, disregard everything I said. Yeah. So we're going to go through the Game Awards categories, and I think it'd be interesting to discuss what we think will win.
Okay.
Because that might be different than what we want to win.
Yes.
Okay?
Sure.
So we'll go through the categories. I'll tell you what's nominated. And
first few categories, I think you're going to be
I'm prepared for
pack here.
Glossed over eyes from Tyler on the first. So we're going backwards because we didn't want to start with the game of the year. So, all right. So the first one we have up is Best Esports Event. So I'm going to read the description as well. Okay. Yep. So it's recognizing an event across single or multiple days that delivered a best of class experience for participants and the broadcast audience. We have EVO 2022, which is the fighting game tournament.
Yep.
2022 League of Legends World Championship. PGL Major Antwerp 2022. I think that's Siege.
I will take your word for it.
And then we have mid-season Invitational, which is League as well, I think. And then Valorant Champions 2022.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. League always wins these.
Mm-hmm.
Like 9 out of 10 times.
EVO doesn't? I think EVO is going to win.
Really?
I think.
It hasn't in recent years.
I mean, that's news to me. I don't follow it, but I just feel like EVO's the biggest one, right?
It's debatable. I mean, League's pretty big. But what might give it a run for its money this year is Valorant. Valorant's been pretty popular as far as I can discern, yeah.
Okay.
But EVO might win. I'm looking at the pictures. EVO looks pretty hyped. So maybe it will win.
Well, I'm just trying to think of when you look at this scene and you're looking at like, and maybe the timing doesn't work out for this, but think of all the fighting games that are announced.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel like people that are maybe getting a little rejuvenated. It's the 20th anniversary of Mortal Kombat. You have Tekken 8 coming out. You have Street Fighter 6 coming out. There's a lot of hype in that space. You have the whatever the Smash killers were, not killers, but you know what I mean, like all those other
Battleverse
ones.
or whatever.
Yeah, Battleverse and whatever
It's definitely
other
not
stuff.
Battleverse. What is it called?
Nickelodeon Fighters Z's or something.
Oh God! Can
I'm
you
just
tell
saying,
that we
like,
don't play fighting
Yeah, I
games?
mean maybe I don't know. So you think it's going to be League of Legends?
It was pretty hyped this year. Evo might win because now that I'm thinking about it, what you were talking about, I think there were a lot of cool announcements at Evo 2022.
Again, I don't know if maybe people were just excited about it.
I think for the past couple of years, fighting games tournaments, as far as I've been aware, haven't really been in person that much.
I don't know. They all bleed together. I like to just look at when people get really pissed off and like either break a controller or throw it or like
those are the best
start a fist fight
compilations.
for real.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've never seen a fight start.
Yeah. No, it was.
But I've seen
people are just like they get
smash
mad.
their
Like,
controller.
yeah.
They're so aggressive to the inanimate object, which is good, right? Instead of fighting on
I
stage.
guess,
But
sure.
I'm just like, dude,
Yeah.
just hit the guy. I'm just kidding. That's a joke. Don't hit
people.
anyone.
All right. Well, I mean,
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm impartial to League, obviously, so
yeah.
you know where I stand on
Sure.
that. It was pretty hyped this year. It was actually I talked about this, So DRX won the world championship. So that's the team that was the 4th seed out of Korea.
Oh, so that wasn't Gen Z.
Gen G.
Gen G.
No, it wasn't Gen G. But it was DRX and T1.
I don't know why I thought Gen G was the.
They were the favorites.
Oh, okay, that's why.
And they're nominated for another category. That's probably
Yeah.
why you saw them. But
Well, I voted for that
did you? Yeah. That's funny.
because I thought they were the underdogs. I thought that was the
Nah.
whole thing. Is like they came back and won everything, but
No,
now I'm
DRX, but they did win the title, and they were the huge underdog.
That's awesome.
They went
So they ended up winning.
all the way through play-ins, so they had to play a tournament
Yeah.
to get into the main tournament.
I don't think they won because that would have been Saturday of last week, right?
No, it was a couple weeks ago.
Was it? Okay, so you might have told me and I just glossed over.
Yeah, I probably
Okay,
maybe.
fair
But
enough.
all right, so let's move on. Next category: best esports coach. The esports coach judged to be most outstanding for performance and conduct. I don't know most of these guys,
I just voted for Gen G.
but they lost, so you can't.
Yeah, but he looks like he's like 12.
I would vote for the guy who's FaZe Clan for CSGO.
All right.
I'm not even going to go through these. I mean,
Moving on.
Yeah, I really don't have a lot of insight on this, but we're going to move on. We'll see who wins that. Best esports team recognizes a specific esports team, not the full organization. Okay. Judged the most outstanding performance and conduct. Dark Zero Esports, which is Apex, FaZe Clan, CSGO, Gen G, League of Legends, LA Thieves, Call of Duty, and Loud, which is Valorant. Gen G lost, so you can't vote for them, in my opinion.
I did vote for them.
Well, you
'Cause I
messed
didn't
up.
know.
You fucked up.
Yeah. Anytime there's Gen G on the screen, I voted for him.
Did the LA Thieves win?
I don't, buddy.
I think they did.
You know who I'm talking. Like,
Yeah,
come
I
on.
know I'm talking to myself right now. My little brother watches Call of Duty esports,
Yeah,
so I'll
yeah.
have to ask him. But that would be my vote if they won because I like Nade Shot. All right, best esports athlete. The esports athlete judged to be the most outstanding for performance and conduct in 2022, irrespective of the game. Excuse me. So you have Chovy from League, you have Faker from League, you have Kerrigan, CSGO, FaZe Clan, Simple, CSGO, and Yay, Cloud9, Valorant.
Sure.
Don't know who that is.
Is Dr. Disrespect not on there?
Yeah, should be on here. I don't know who I'd vote for. You can't vote for either of the League guys. They didn't win. To me, you got to win, man.
Okay, well,
So-
I mean,
If FaZe won in CSGO, that's my vote. So
okay.
there it is. All right, here we go. Maybe you can talk a little bit more about this.
Wow.
Best esports game.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've probably played these games. So
Sure.
for the game that has delivered the best overall esports experience to players, inclusive of tournaments, community support, and content updates, irrespective of genre or platform. So get all your biases out of the console.
So what am I looking at then? Am I trying to decide what is the most fun to watch?
Yes, best experience.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
CSGO, Dota 2, League of Legends, Rocket League, or Valorant.
So for all of those, it would have to be Rocket League or Valorant for me because I can actually understand what the heck is going on.
Yeah, that's fair. I always think League will be the best esports to consume. I think Valorant, we'll see this year. Valorant will give League a run for its money. I think it's done very well so far.
Yeah.
But I agree. Rocket League is also super fun to watch.
Rocket League, anyone can understand it because it's soccer.
Right.
So it just looks cool. Now, if you've ever even tried Rocket League, immediately people like doing all the aerials and different things like that is just mind-bending. But it only takes you 5 minutes to understand that. Where League of Legends, the problem is like the announcers play an important part of it, but I can't comprehend what's going on the screen half the time.
Yes, for a new player, I would agree.
That's all.
Rocket
That's
League
my
is a more
argument.
friendly experience. But
even
I will
Valorant's
argue
not bad because Valorant's like, oh, okay, cool. Like you hit your shots.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I understand. Well, the problem with this, and this is something I think I talked about last week, first-person shooters are so hard as a spectator to watch because you have to pick the person that you're following. Mm-hmm. If you do the overhead camera, I mean, you lose so much of what makes the game that game.
yeah, like
right? You're losing the
what's
identity.
their perception? How do they know? How are they moving and stuff? Yeah.
So when you zoom out, you're losing a lot of the characteristics of the game, obviously.
Yeah.
In League, like I said before, the camera is the exact same as the spectator versus when you're playing.
Yeah.
It's over the top, whatever.
See, I feel like there would be an easy way. Well, not easy, but there should be a way that if two players are, because the computer knows like which way you're facing and if you're running towards each other and stuff.
Yeah.
Like if they're within X proximity and they're facing each other, it just snaps to like a side by side or something where it's like, okay, let's see like who wins this fight.
I don't watch a lot of the first person esports, so maybe they do implement something like that these days. But from what I remember, it's you're either picking a person to be on or it's over the top. But my argument is for Rocket League, there's so few number of people that it's easier, and there's a ball, so it's easier to lock into someone who obviously has control of the ball. And then the third person view is actually not that bad. I don't think you lose a lot of the aspects of the game.
That's how we watch a real soccer. So.
Exactly. So I don't know, a little bit different, but I think that'll be interesting to see who wins that. All right, now we get into something Tyler actually cares about.
Hey.
All right, here we go. So most anticipated games.
Yeah,
so
I don't give a crap.
Oh, you don't?
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Okay.
Actually, I don't. But
okay. Are you sure? Are you good?
I have an anticipated game. It's not on this list.
What is it?
My mind blanked. Sorry, Diablo 4. I was like, wait a minute, what am I thinking?
Oh my god,
Diablo 4 is coming out.
So anticipated by Tyler, you can't remember it.
I said Mass Effect's also coming out.
Mass Effect?
Yeah.
I don't know. No Shepard, no Mass Effect.
There's gonna be a Shepard.
You think so?
Yeah.
All right, that's a different conversation. We are recognizing an announced game that has been demonstrably illustrated potential to push the gaming medium forward.
I have. Okay, so focus in on that description.
Yes.
And now go ahead.
Final Fantasy 16.
Okay.
Hogwarts Legacy.
Okay.
Resident Evil 4.
Uh-huh.
I guess the remaster.
Mm-hmm.
Starfield. The Legend of Zelda. Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah. So pushing the genre forward.
Yep.
Have we seen anything from any of those games that even hints at pushing the genre forward? And maybe I'm being too harsh, but there's, for God's sakes, there's a remake on there.
Yeah. Well, is that a genre though? Is that a new space that we're seeing develop?
From what they've shown, no. Like it looks exactly like Resident Evil 2. Awesome looking game. And
would you say
like,
that Resident Evil 2 pushed that genre forward? Yeah.
Well, yeah. Does it push it forward? No. Did it push Resident Evil 2 forward? Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe they're talking in that regard. But like Starfield looks very much like No Man's Sky. I would argue No Man's Sky might be better. I think people need to accept the possibility that may be the case. But then you also have stuff like Legend of Zelda they haven't shown anything different than literally Breath of the Wild. Again, fantastic game, and I would argue that game pushed the genre. But what are you really going to... I could be wrong.
They seem to always surprise us with the Legend of Zelda games.
I guess.
And I'm not... I've never actually even played one of the games, so I'm going off of complete community response, but...
So, I'm sorry, so you think Zelda will...
I think it's either going to be Zelda. My most anticipated game is Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
It's
an action adventure game.
I understand. It's not going to push the medium forward if we're going strictly by the definition.
Right.
I agree.
It's just a weird
You're
definition.
Right. I don't think.
Final
Fantasy will.
Final Fantasy looks bad.
16.
I've seen one. Maybe they put out more since I've seen it, but we saw that one video, and I'm like, this looks bad.
I don't know if I've seen that. I thought I heard good things about it. Maybe.
Well, by Final Fantasy 420 or Sephiroth Lover 69.
All right. Well, Tyler's vote is on.
I think Starfield wins that.
You think? I agree. I think Starfield will win.
That's a tough one between Zelda and Starfield. I think Starfield pulls that out.
I think because we've seen more.
We've seen more. It's a little bit different coming from that studio, and Zelda is it's Zelda too.
It's too hyped.
Yeah,
it's too high. Starfield's too hyped.
Yeah,
to me, I think that's what this category turns into. But my vote's Hogwarts. Just
my vote is Diablo 4.
All right, well, that's not on the list.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Best adaptation. So this is an interesting category this year. So it's recognizing outstanding creative work that faithfully and authentically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium.
Mm-hmm.
We have Arcane, League of Legends story, Cyberpunk, Edge Runners, The Cuphead Show, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and Uncharted.
Uncharted was bad.
Yep. I did
specifically as an Uncharted movie. I think it was okay. It was serviceable. Go stream it. Like, it's fine. It's like, it's not a waste of your time. It was not a good Uncharted adaptation, I should say.
Yeah, the video they made with Nathan Fillion
is 10 times better.
10 times better. Yeah. I watched that semi recently.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the Cuphead show. I'm going to assume it's not as good as some of the other ones on this list, but maybe it is a masterpiece. Maybe it's the next Planet Earth 2.
Right.
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I heard Sonic was actually not too bad.
Yeah, Sonic gets good reviews and everything.
So I really think it's going to come to the two big boys here. It's going to be Arcane or Cyberpunk. Do you have a perspective on this?
So by your definition, it's tough because I might actually lean Cyberpunk, even though I liked Arcane more. I liked Arcane more as a story, and I went through Arcane. Honestly, I went through both of them like pretty steadily. I thought Cyberpunk just made such a perfect kind of inception of that world and all the little nods and different things. And I thought they did a really, really good job world building it, where I thought Arcane was maybe a little bit better on the character side, if that makes sense.
I agree. I think I enjoyed Arcane more. Obviously, I'm biased.
Yeah.
But I do honestly think it was a better show. However, again, if we go by the definition, authentically adapting it from the one medium to the other, I agree. Cyberpunk really encapsulates that world nearly flawlessly, I would say.
Yeah,
right?
and if you want to get meta with it, where it's like Cyberpunk, the Cyberpunk look and feel typically leans a little bit more Asian inspired and Japanese and stuff like that. So then the fact that they made an anime based off of it just seems right. Like as the medium, like they could have done it as a live action. I think it would have been laughably bad, right?
The problem is that Cyberpunk has an aesthetic and feel to it because it's a single player game, whereas League of Legends does not have an established feel to it. So that's also difficult as well. Now, if we're talking adapting the characters, League of Legends did a fantastic job. Arcane did a fantastic job of that, right? So
and
it is tough.
Both made me feel bad at the end. Like, I just felt depressed after watching both of them. I agree with you. I liked Arcane more. I hope Arcane wins. I think graphically speaking, it's a very massive achievement what they did. Like, I think nothing quite looks like it. And I think a lot of their shots were incredible. But we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was a French studio that did Arcane.
I think I can speak for both of us on the couch when I say if for whatever weird reason Uncharted wins, we should boycott the Game Awards next year.
Oh yeah. Holy shit! If Uncharted wins,
can you imagine that?
It can't. It can't.
The only reasons on the list is because they ran out of adaptations.
That would be worse than Last of Us 2 winning.
Like Witcher would be on the list if it came out this year. I think they came out late on 2021,
yes.
but
Witcher's pretty good though. So
Witcher's fantastic.
That would be an interesting.
I think
debate.
Witcher is the best live action video game esque thing. And I understand it's based on the books and blah 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 blah. But I would say that is probably my pick for best video game adaptation.
You might be right. I obviously haven't seen the Mario.
Obviously not. Fair enough.
But disregarding that, I think you're right. Yeah. All right. Next category: best indie debut.
Yeah.
Here we go. For the best debut game created by a new independent studio, we have some game called Neon White. Looks like garbage. We have Norco. We have Stray, which looks incredible. And Tunic and Vampire Survivors.
Yep.
I've played 2 of these games. You've played all of them. So
I did not play Norco.
Oh, shit. You didn't play Norco.
So there's that. I feel like you talking about it, though. My pick on this list, Vampire Survivors. And
wow.
Yeah. And the reason being, my favorite game on the list, obviously Neon White.
Yeah.
I love that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
However, when it comes to a debut, I think Vampire Survivors did something incredibly special where it's a very cheap game. They made, I would argue, a genre that spawned a bunch. Like, I'm literally playing a clone on my phone because they made this kind of like reverse bullet hell type thing. And it's keep playing. Like it's like a one more run type of thing.
Yeah.
Neon White does some great stuff too, and it's like a more, like, I would say, fully fleshed out game. I think Tunic is phenomenal, but again, Tunic, you can see its inspiration from a lot of different places. You can see where Neon White is trying to go for different things. Like when it comes to Vampire Survivors, there's just something there that they just kept making, and I love the idea. It's like, it might be like one guy or a small group or whatever, but like the fact that they made that and everyone loves it, and if you have like a Steam Deck, which I know came out this year, like you put Vampire Survivors on it.
Yeah.
So I think it's just awesome.
No, that's an interesting point. Very surprising. Now, by the description, it does say the best debut game.
Yeah.
So I don't think Vampire Survivor will win because I don't think it's the best game on that list.
You want to bet?
Cheeseburger? Yeah.
I think Vampire Survivors has a good shot at it.
I don't think it'll win.
Because it is the most accessible and I think the most people played it.
I don't think it'll win.
I'll put Cheeseburger on it.
I think Stray will win. I think we're going to see Stray win a lot of categories.
I'm going to boycott.
No, I'm with you. I wouldn't boycott it. That's not as egregious as Uncharted.
That's fair.
Winning.
No, I'm kidding.
But I'd be salty.
So you take Stray, and
I think, yes. If we're betting, I think it's going to be Stray. What I think should win, Norco was really good. I can understand the audience really liking that. That's like a highbrow game, I call it.
Yeah.
Very artsy.
But Neon White, it's weird because Neon White isn't the first game from that developer, I don't think. Didn't they do Donut County? Or am I completely
You got to be wrong because it said by a new independent studio.
Maybe it's like the guy that made Donut County made a studio and then they made one or something. I could be way off base, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what wins. I don't know if I have an allegiance to any of these that I want to win. I thought Tunic looked very good, so I was very impressed that for an indie game that looked really cool.
No, Tunic's great.
So I would be happy with that, getting the dub. All right, here we go. Content Creator of the Year. For a streamer or content creator who has made an important and positive impact on the community in 2022. I don't know if you'll know any of these guys. Carl Jacobs, Ludwig, Nebelian, Norbaru,
I voted for Ludwig.
And Cutie Cinderella, yeah, I'd vote for Ludwig too. He's pretty funny.
He's named after my favorite Koopa.
Oh, okay, so you don't know him at all.
I do know. He's actually the only person I know, so yeah.
Yeah, same. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know all their personal stuff. Like, I would hope that there's like a person that's like for change and positivity and different things like that. Like, I think there are other people out there that maybe promote that stuff more, but they also maybe just aren't as popular.
I think What Killed Jeff got snubbed on this one.
100%.
But,
Can you write him in?
I am looking for the option. Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking for the option, but maybe next year we can get him in there. Yeah. Get him a few more subs.
May as well.
Yeah. All right. Best multiplayer. Here we go. We're getting into the meat now. For outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game genre or platform. So don't you dare. If I see you being biased by a platform, a game, I'm going to slap you in the face.
All right. Slap away.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Multiverses, Overwatch 2, Splatoon 3, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge.
I think that's actually bizarre that's on there. I get why.
Talk about just filling it out. Yeah. That's another example of that. Funny enough, all of the last ones have been that spot, so they're not hiding the ball.
I think they're more concerned with trying to get a little diversity in there than anything else, it seems like.
I think there's always, when it comes to the Game Awards, like a couple games that are like good and people liked them. Yeah. Like that one, where, you need to give them a little something, right? Just at least they had a nomination. So
I think Jeff was even less on it than...
Oh my God, his score on our sheet is terrible.
Yeah.
No. I think it's probably because he had maybe game issues. I don't know.
I mean, we did too. We never played it again.
It was all nostalgia for me. I admitted that from the start.
Yeah.
I don't care. I enjoyed it.
It was fine.
Made me feel like I was at Pizza Planet again, playing it on the arcade sticks. So I don't care. All right.
What Call of Duty? That's.
You think Call of Duty will win, or you want it to win?
Nah, I think that wins.
You like that more than Splatoon? For multiplayer?
Well, yeah, because I actually am doing really well at Call of Duty right now. I think Call of Duty is a larger package. Now, if you put in all of the technical issues and whatnot, I would still argue, and I know this is kind of crazy, I would still argue that largely I think this has been one of the smoothest, specifically the multiplayer side, rollouts that they've done, where we have to form a new party occasionally if somebody drops out and things like that. But when you think of the technical achievement of like a PC playing with PlayStation, playing with Xbox, all talking together in the same lobbies and doing different things, like I feel largely that it performed fairly well. I feel like Ground War worked where Battlefield didn't, stuff like that. So I think it pulls it out. I don't think Overwatch gets it. I think there's too much bad juju and bad blood going on with Blizzard right now. Unless you would get what's it called?
Conspiracy theory?
Thank you. Conspiracy theory, and be like, well, maybe Microsoft grease some palms and get people excited for Overwatch, so then when they buy it, it's going to be, you know what I mean? But no, I think Call of Duty, I think out of deserving it, I think Call of Duty deserves it. I think Splatoon is right there, but I think Nintendo just does enough to cripple itself whenever it does anything online. I think the fact that everyone was surprised how well Splatoon played and worked, because it was very fun. I still love Splatoon. I just don't think they should get high marks just because Nintendo put out a competent online game for once.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think Call of Duty will win. It would be my vote as well. I do want to note that Multiverses was the game we were referring to, the fighting game.
Yeah.
That was...
That's with Batman and Shaggy.
Yeah. I thought it looked very interesting, and people, I think, like it. But yeah, I think Call of Duty has been an overall success. Not perfect by any stretch of the imagination.
Best-selling Call of Duty game, right?
Is it?
I think so.
Wow. That's shocking. All right, here we go. Best sports / racing for the best traditional and non-traditional sports and racing games. your favorite category.
Yeah, I voted here. I played one of these.
F1 22, FIFA 23, NBA 2K23, Gran Turismo 7, and Ollie Ollie World, which is what Tyler voted for
100%.
because it's not a real thing. Would you like to elaborate?
I'm very bad at Ollie Ollie World.
Okay.
That's all.
That's all.
Yeah.
What do you think will win?
Name them again real quick.
F1,
FIFA.
Okay.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that was on the list. I think FIFA wins that.
Gran Turismo 7 looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And sports games suck.
Yeah. And I'm sure the 7 people that bought Gran Turismo 7 are really pulling for it. But
fair. I don't know what will win. This was actually very tough. I will say, I'll say NBA.
Sure.
Just because I know that's popular as well. And what I want to win, probably Gran Turismo. Although, is Ollie Ollie World fun?
It's okay.
All right.
If you like skating,
it looks like
it'd be fun.
It looks like rocket powered.
A little bit.
Remember that show?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, like Tony Hawk and all that stuff. Like it's like a 2D Tony Hawk.
Okay, that's cool.
It's neat.
Yeah.
I couldn't get my head around the controls. So.
Well, you're old, so
yeah,
that makes sense. All right, here we go. Best sim/strategy. Best game focused on real-time or turn-based simulation or strategy gameplay, irrespective of platform. We have Dune, Spice Wars, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Total War, Warhammer 3, 2 Point Campus, and Victoria 3.
I voted for Mario Rabbids.
You haven't even played it.
I know. I didn't play any of them. Well, that's a lie. I played Warhammer and was not a big fan. But
interesting.
Mario Rabbids, according to all the reviews, it's like the first one but better, and I loved the first one.
I didn't know that there was a Dune game, and I can't believe that Calvin hasn't played that.
I'm pretty sure it just came out and it's on Game Pass.
Oh, interesting. I've been told the Total War game was good, so we'll see. What I think will win, you're probably right. Mario's got to win there, right?
I would actually be shocked if it won that.
Really?
Yeah.
What else is going to win? Total War?
I think Total War.
Total War, yeah. It's got to be between those two, I would say.
There was some drama surrounding it where I think they made a promise and then had to back out on it, like bringing in other maps or something. I'm not up on that, but that would be the only thing that maybe snubs it, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's got to be between those two, so I haven't played any of these, but that'll be interesting to see. All right, here we go. Best family. For the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform, we have Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Lego Star Wars, The Skywalker Saga, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Nintendo Switch Sports, and Splatoon 3.
Yeah.
What do I think is going to win? Oh, this is tough. If we're going, best appropriate for the... how do you view that appropriate for the family? Do you feel like that's the family's involved or it's just for kids?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Like,
if the family's involved, it's got to be sports, right? Because that's like
I think that's what wins.
Okay.
I would love to see Skywalker win.
I agree. I think that Lego Star Wars Skywalker probably, although I saw that Kirby had fantastic reviews.
Yeah, but think about it this way, and I don't know if Kirby has the multiplayer stuff. And honestly, I'm not even sure Skywalker is more than 2 players. If it's not, then I might have to just go all the way in on sports. But if you're talking family, then to me, it's like, okay, we are looking for multiple people playing the game. So I think Kirby is either solo or maybe it's like a co-op thing.
Yeah.
And Mario Rabbids, like that's like a strategy game. So I don't know how family oriented that is.
Right.
I think sports is the one.
I think sports wins. I agree, though. I'd like to see Lego Star Wars win.
I think it's fun. I think that would be like, okay, I have a kid. Like Lego Star Wars is something that I wouldn't hate myself playing, and it could be fun together.
All right, we move on to the best fighting game. For the best game designed primarily around head-to-head combat, we have DNF Duel, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R, The King of Fighters 15.
That's insane.
Multiverses.
15.
Sifu?
Yeah.
What do you got?
Sifu's the one I played.
And did you like it?
No.
All right. What is going to win? I can't remember if. So I watch Maximilian Dude, who's a fighting game guy.
Yeah.
But he kind of extends past that. Like, he's very, very popular. And
not Ludwig popular, but he's up there.
No, he's not Ludwig popular, but he is actually up there. He's very popular. I can't remember if he liked DNF Duel, because that's how I kind of gauged the fighting community through his lens. So I would say if DNF was good, that has to win, because that's like the only real quote unquote fighting game on here. I mean, I know that Multiverse, some people liked Multiverses. I don't think that'll win.
Sifu's an action adventure. I understand why they're making the argument it's a fighting game, because like technically you kind of are.
Yeah.
But that's a stretch in my mind.
King of Fighters, I don't know how well that performed either. So
King of Fighter. Oh no, I'm thinking Virtua Fighter. So I don't know how many Virtua Fighters they have, but King of
probably not 15. And I don't think JoJo's ever wins. So
can you ever put something like maybe Final Fantasy being the exception, but like name another one that has 15 things out that's still good?
Mega Man.
15?
Yeah, they have to be somewhere there.
Yeah, but then they start like breaking off in other like
I think you're right.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I'll follow your lead on that one. Yeah.
All right.
I don't really have a horse in that one.
Best role-playing game. For the best game designed with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences. Elden Ring.
End of list.
Yeah. Is it Live Alive?
Sure.
I think that Pokemon Legends, Arceus, Triangle Strategy, Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring wins.
Yeah.
Easily. What I think should win, I don't know. I haven't played any of these. Have you played any of them?
Elden Ring.
Do you think it should win?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. We're moving on. Best action adventure. For the best action adventure game, combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving.
Mm-hmm.
A Plague Tale Requiem, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Tunic.
Yeah.
God of War has to win this.
I don't think so.
Wow.
Read the definition again.
For the best action adventure game, combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving.
Yeah.
What do you think wins?
Do I think that God of War wins that?
Yeah.
I think you could probably.
It has to.
They might give a nod to Requiem here because I don't know if they're nominated elsewhere.
They
are. I would personally give it to Tunic, and here's why.
Ooh.
Tunic does a very, very just fantastic job where you have no dialogue. Like people talk to you, but you can't understand them.
Right.
It's all, and I think I showed you this where like the manual, like you get this old school manual, so you're finding pieces of a manual, and it's slowly telling you how to do things that you can do from the moment you start the game. So like you can go in all these little like hideaways and secret areas and different back entrances. You can do all these different moves and things. You just don't know how to input them into the controller.
Yeah.
And I think it does such a fantastic job as you go through solving all these puzzles and just figuring stuff out on your own. And I know I'm talking about both sides of my mouth because in some respects, Elden Ring does the same thing. I just think Tunic does it in a very, very, very clever way where they tell you what you need to know when you need to know it. Elden Ring, you just keep bashing your head until you figure it out. So I think there's a kind of line there. But from an action adventure game, is the combat like incredible? Maybe not in Tunic. And I think that could be one of its like biggest weaknesses. However, it's passable. And I think the traversal and how all the different worlds and stuff and like levels flow together in all the different secrets. And like whenever you discover something or figure something out, again, because no one's telling you how to do any of it, that aha moment, I think that's very good. It's my understanding, again, we haven't played God of War, so who knows? It's my understanding God of War that like you wait a second too long. Now Atreus is telling, oh, hey, maybe that green eye would be good if we smacked it with your hammer or something, or axe. I'm making that up, but you know what I mean. Like it's like it's the same thing with like your Uncharted's and your Tomb Raiders. It's like in these thought monologues of like, oh, maybe if I put the water on this one and move this one over here, maybe that would do something. Tunic doesn't do that for you. Tunic's like figuring out, like for better or worse. So I don't know. I know.
I agree. So I think
but
the puzzle aspect of Tunic's obviously going to be better. It's more thought out. It's more interesting. It's more unique. But it loses in the combat element of it. It
does.
Like a million% to the rest of these games, except Stray. Does Stray have combat?
No.
Yeah, so. I don't know. We'll see. No. I mean, and traversal. I mean, for God of War, and I would say, Horizon and the other games, the traversal aspect of that's going to be better, right? Your map, your exploration.
That's what I mean. I guess it depends on your definition of traversal. So, I think there could be an argument for God of War for sure, because I know in the first God of War, whenever Mir, I don't know how you say his name.
Mirror on the wall.
Yep. Yeah. The severed head guy. But whenever he's telling you like the different like stories and stuff, and like that was interesting. That was a good traversal thing.
Yeah.
What I'm saying with Tunic is the traversal, it's these like you're learning new ways. Like you're stomping through the same, area 12 different times.
Yeah. It's clever.
But it's very clever on how you traverse it. And as you go through and like you look at it from a different angle, and it's like, oh, suddenly everything opens up to you. And again, nothing changes from the very beginning, but it's like, oh, I can go behind this hidden wall here and go up this way and do different things. Like, I think that's very clever.
Yeah, I think God of War is going to win.
You're probably not wrong.
But I appreciate your defense of Tunic.
I think Tunic just
going to get crushed by every other game on that list.
Tunic deserves better.
It might win indie game. I don't know. All right, here we go. Best action game. So this is for the best game that is action in the action genre, focused primarily on combat. So this is combat focused. Bayonetta 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Neon White, Sifu, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge.
Yeah.
What do you got? What do you like?
I think Bayonetta should be a lock for this.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you played it?
No.
Okay.
And look,
has it gotten? I haven't even seen reviews for it.
Bayonetta, I think it's got decent reviews. Bayonetta, again, take it all with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Bayonetta is the quintessential action game. It is the Devil May Cry. It is, if you're talking about an action game, like just a beat 'em up, that's what it is. I would argue the fact that, like Neon White, not so much. Like Neon White has it there, but Neon White's, I would argue, almost more of a puzzle game than anything. Like, yeah, there's shooting, like sure, but you're not shooting things in terms of like, hey, I want to attack these guys and kill them and do all these. Like you're not. It's not the action for that isn't the point as much as like the how can I get from point A to point B in the fastest time possible. Right.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I agree. I think you're probably right with that respect. So you wouldn't consider Call of Duty in that kind of
I would. I just
genre?
think Call of Duty has such a bad it's not like a bad image, but like it's almost like not cool to pick Call of Duty, right? So
really?
Yeah, like if you're talking an action game, I don't think Call of Duty is an action game. I think Call of Duty is a shooter. So if you want to split hairs on that sort of thing, I think an action game to me is like I would put Diablo in there. Like that's a top down like action RPG or whatever. But it's still focused on like the combat and the dexterity thing. Like honestly, I would even put, and I know it's not, but like I think League of Legends is more of an action game than what I think Call of Duty is. Both, like, I think Call of Duty and League of Legends are, like, we're breaking them out of their genres. So you're breaking them out of a shooter and you're breaking them out of a MOBA. If they're both considering action games, to me, I think League of Legends is more of an action game than Call of Duty is.
Interesting. I don't know if they have a best shooter, so maybe that's why they put it in here
yeah,
for that.
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Call of Duty's good. I just think that Bayonetta is a little bit more special.
Sifu did pretty well, didn't it?
Yeah, but
you
again,
don't think it'll win? Bayonetta is too popular.
I think so. Okay. I think Nintendo is not getting that much this year. unless Mario Rabbids like goes bonkers, and I don't think it's going to. I think Bayonetta is an easy lock for this personally.
All right, we'll have to see. That'll be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so we got best VR/AR. So this is for the best game experience playable in virtual or augmented reality, irrespective of platform. So After the Fall, Among Us VR, Bone Lab, Moss, Book 2, and Red Matter 2.
Didn't play a single one of those. So your guess is good as mine. I would love to see Among Us do well. I have not seen a review on that, though.
Yeah, I haven't really seen a review on any of these, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not very well-versed.
Moss did well. Moss, I think, is in mid-80s.
It's on Game Pass.
Moss is?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
No, it's on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Never mind. I knew I saw it when I booted something up, and I thought it was Game Pass, and then I
was going to say Moss
went back
Moss
into my
was
head.
The PSVR.
Yeah, is that exclusive PlayStation? Okay,
it's not exclusive. You can get it for the Quest, but I think it started out on PlayStation.
Does Game Pass have any VR games?
No, why would
they?
Okay. Yeah, you can't play anything on that.
All right, never mind.
Well, I should roll that back. Technically, is No Man's Sky still on Game Pass?
I don't know,
because there is a VR component to that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can literally be in a universe, an infinite universe.
Yes,
in VR with No Man's Sky. It's crazy.
That is crazy. Yeah. It's a shock that that's not what you do all day.
Yeah, well, dude, I get such bad headaches with
really?
VR. Yeah.
All right, here we go. So we got innovation in accessibility. So this is recognizing software and or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. We have As Dusk Falls, God of War Ragnarok, Return to Monkey Island, The Last of Us Part 1, and The Quarry. So you're usually up to date on this, so I'm curious.
I am not on any of those. And I actually, whenever I pick this, sorry.
Well, last year you had like a big spiel about.
I did,
like,
and I was wrong.
Well, you were wrong that they lost, but you had a lot of insight on it at least.
Well, yeah, I'll brush up on it before we actually do the rewards.
I just thought that.
I think Monkey Island does a very good job with accessibility. I think they do some smart things to let people play a point and click adventure where they may or may not be able to point and click or like need, I don't know, better like areas of like, oh, what can I actually click on? You can like press a button and it'll show you all the different places you can click and different stuff. So but that's only when I played.
I think Last of Us may have gotten this award years ago.
Maybe. I don't know what do they do?
Last of Us Part 2 did something. I think they won this award in 2018.
No, I think Forza did.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure, but I thought Forza actually brought they popped up and it's like a literally person doing sign language.
Yeah, no, yeah. I remember that year. I think it's a different year though.
Maybe. I don't know.
Anyways, I have a sneaking suspicion that The Last of Us is going to win.
Sure.
That's just call it a hunch. But yeah, I would have to look into what.
I don't love the fact that The Last of Us is even considered.
That's what I'm saying. This is the only category they're nominated for.
I guess.
And I think, I don't know.
You know what? You're probably not wrong.
So we are loading the next section, and
okay.
Anticipation is palpable.
People are already checking their podcast app. Like, wait, did it pause? What happened?
Yeah, my phone totally messed up. So I clicked the home button.
We're almost at the end.
I clicked the home button instead of the previous button.
Oh man,
yeah, it's a big rip.
Yeah.
All right, best
community. My cats are going insane
because they're excited about the Game Awards.
Yes, yeah, or they're just very hungry.
We have best community support, recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates / patches. Mm-hmm. This one's sponsored by Discord.
Oh, interesting. All right.
We have Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy, what is that? 14?
Yeah.
Fortnite, and No Man's Sky.
Yeah. So for me, No Man's Sky, I think, deserves that.
You love.
If you look at the amount of content,
like
if you look at what No Man's Sky launched with,
yes,
and then look at where it is now, sure, like I would argue it is the most transformed game out of all of them. Fortnite has done a ton of stuff. And then I know they work their teams super hard, like cranking out new stuff. I know Final Fantasy 14 is essentially on the same page as No Man's Sky, where they were like, oh, hey, pull it offline, redo it, put it back, and now it's fantastic. Destiny, I would argue Destiny doesn't deserve to be on the list because of how bad they, coming back into it, I am lost instantly.
Yeah.
Coming back into No Man's Sky, totally fine.
What about Fortnite? I mean, if we look at what the definition of it is,
yeah, I think
you were talking
Fortnite's
about
the same thing as Call of Duty.
I mean, you were talking about it earlier. They churn out content.
Yeah.
They remain relevant. Is there something to be said about having to pull your game off and then coming back? Yes, the comeback story is greater, but we're talking consistency.
That was 2016. What I'm saying is, what year did No Man's Sky come out?
We're talking this year. So how many seasons did Fortnite have this year? How many skins did they have?
I don't know, but
all these, so, you know what I mean?
Here, let me. You keep talking, so let me.
I think Fortnite's going to win this because I think they are the most consistent with updates, with expansions, or however you want to call it, changing the map, game modes, all these different characters you can get, the battle passes, whatever the case may be. Right. I just think they're the most consistent, and that's, to me, what the description of the award is. They fit it the best.
I'm really trying to find the release log. There's like a release log of all the different. So Waypoint, I don't know if you can see this. We're like, I'm scrolling. Like this is all just like this year of updates for No Man's Sky, where it's like just patch after patch after patch. And these aren't like, this isn't just, we fixed things. This is, hey, we added mechs, so now you can just have mechs. Or hey, we added a ship that's alive, and you can just hatch a ship and grow it and then fly around in like a living ship, like alien ship, right?
Nice.
They retooled everything. They added VR support. And to be fair, that wasn't all this year, but they just kept doing more and more and more. And they're like, oh, here's a Foundations update. Now you can build 1 million player bases and have communities and different things like that. Like, I'm voting for No Man's Sky. I'm obviously very biased. You make a very good point with the Fortnite, where like, how do you take the biggest game ever and keep it relevant? And I think they're still doing a good job of it. But also, the people that were like super hot on Fortnite, so like my nephew, for instance, he hasn't really been talking about Fortnite that much.
Yeah,
you know, like he might go in there here and there, but now Call of Duty's pulling him in there and stuff. So it's just, I don't know. It's
we'll have to see. We'll have to see. So all right. We'll move forward with the best mobile game. For the best game playable on a mobile device: Apex Legends Mobile, Diablo Immortal, Genshin Impact, Marvel Snap, Tower of Fantasy. I think Marvel Snap will win. It's been everywhere.
And it's recent.
It's recent. Yeah. It's recency biased. I was in New York a couple weeks ago, and a huge Marvel Snap.
Yeah.
On in Times Square. Like, it is literally everywhere.
I think Diablo bumbled it.
Oh, yeah.
I really don't care for the Diablo mobile, and like honestly, in some ways, I dislike it even more on PC.
Wow.
Yeah, and everything else is just kind of like Genshin Impact. You can make an argument for, I suppose.
I didn't even realize.
I never played it though.
I guess it is mobile. Yeah,
they've been doing a lot.
Did
they
start with a mobile, or did that extend into mobile? I think
it was everything at once.
It was everything at
once. I
think
think they did it where it's just like, hey, here
anime girls.
Yeah,
pay us for that.
Yeah,
and the people obliged.
Turns out
they paid them.
Yeah,
I think Marvel Snap will win. I'm not an expert on mobile games. I don't like.
Yeah, I don't know.
Games.
I don't know if that worked. Like if that's deserves it.
I've seen a lot of
new. I just think it's a recency thing.
I just think it's a hype thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my vote. Okay, so this is best indie game.
Yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be there first.
Mm-hmm.
It's just overall. So for outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system, we have Cult of the Lamb, Neon White, Sifu, Stray, and Tunic.
Yeah.
You have played all of these games.
Yes.
You're the expert on this one.
Yeah. So my favorite out of all of them is Neon White.
Of course.
I think Neon White has a pretty decent anime story. I think they have fantastic gameplay. I think Tunic is very good in its own right. I was fighting for it a little bit ago, but also there are plenty of points in Tunic where I'm running around like, where the heck am I going? What am I supposed to do? That sort of thing. Never had that issue with Neon White. Neon White, it's like, all right, I'm going to play this map 25 times over. I'm going to love every second of it, just to beat that tenth of a second or something like that. And that's I am not that guy, and it made me that guy. So whenever a game can pull me out of my comfort zone and make me play something that I never would have given a second thought to, I think personally that's pretty special. So that's why I would give it to Neon White. And then we'll talk about Stray here in a minute, because I don't want to like vent on that right away. And then Sifu was it was just above me. I just couldn't. I'm bad at that game.
I gotcha.
And what was the other one?
Cult of the Lamb.
Cult of the Lamb was awesome, and there was no end game, and that disappointed me more than anything and really soured me on it. So I loved Cult of the Lamb. I beat it fairly quickly. And I was hoping that it would be this very like kind of like this long, okay, you beat the game, but then now you can actually enjoy your cult and do the next step or whatever. But there was like zero reason to continue to play that game. And that kind of soured me on it a little bit. And maybe they fixed it. Maybe they added something at the end or something that I wasn't aware of. But I don't think I'd go back to that game.
Yeah, I mean, I think the voting on this took place a while ago too, which is why we see, some of the...
If I had to pick, I would actually probably be surprised if Call of the Lamb doesn't win.
Interesting, okay. Yeah. But your vote would be Neon White.
My personal vote, would be Neon White.
Awesome. So we'll see what happens with that one. I think that's probably one of your favorite, what's it called? Categories.
Yeah.
All right, best ongoing. So awarded to the game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. So a lot of these categories similar. This is Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Genshin Impact.
And I'm sorry, what was the...
Best ongoing.
Ongoing, yeah.
So I think, similar arguments, Fortnite consistent. Every expansion I see Final Fantasy 14 come out with is always heavily praised.
Yeah, everyone always goes pretty hard on that
one. Very interesting to me. I don't know what will win. I think Destiny 2 definitely won't.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, I actually think Fortnite deserves this more than the best community.
You know what? Seeing this as a category, I tend to agree with you.
Yeah.
And then, your argument with all the patches for No Man's Sky.
It's not just the patch. It's like, there is such a strong community with No Man's, not to go backwards, but like there's such a strong community there. And it's obviously there are a lot of fanboys, but at the same time, like there's a lot to be a fan about, where it's just like, you don't hear from them for like 2 months. And then it's like, oh yeah, hey, by the way, here's all of this stuff. Enjoy.
Right.
Or, oh, by the way, we redid the way we render plants and now they just look way better.
Right.
And it's like incredible.
Yep.
So I don't know.
No, I think you're right. So what would you?
I give it to Fortnite.
Fortnite wins this. Okay.
I think the case could be made for any of them, honestly.
Even Destiny 2?
Yeah, I mean, like they put a lot of stuff out. They keep putting more stuff out for Destiny 2. It's just, I feel like the more I read up on that, it's like I can't track it, right? So it's like, hey, all of your old legendary weapons now don't work. And it's like, oh, okay. Like, and then like 6 months go by. It's like, hey, remember all your old legendary weapons? Now you can use them again. Like, okay. Like, I don't know. That is such a turnoff for me, where it's like I grind the heck out of this thing. I get the best gun in the world. And then it's like, and now it means nothing. Enjoy.
Yeah, no, I feel your pain.
I just want to see numbers go, man.
True. All right, we got games for impact. So this is for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. A Memoir Blue, As Dusk Falls, Citizen Sleeper, Endling Extinction is Forever, Hindsight, and I Was a Teen Exocolonist.
Citizen Sleeper is the only one I even remotely played. And even then, I didn't get super far into it, so I'm kind of useless in this category.
I am also useless in this category, as I contribute nothing to society. But I will say I saw As Dusk Falls in another category, so that will be my vote for what I think wins.
Okay,
so
fair enough.
If I'm right on that, I'm an expert.
Yeah.
All right, so best performance. So this is awarded to an individual for voiceover acting, motion, and or performance capture. So we have Ashley Birch for Horizon Forbidden West. It's Aloy, right?
Yeah.
Charlotte McBurney, A Plague Tale Requiem. We have Christopher Judge for God of War Ragnarok. Man Engaged for Immortality. And Sonny Suljic for God of War Ragnarok. Did I actually? How do you actually pronounce it?
Atreus, right? Like that's I assume.
Yes, I believe.
I would go Christopher Judge personally,
gotta be,
just because I have never played Requiem, so maybe she does a really good thing. I can't imagine like Aloy's cool. I was never in it for Aloy. I never really kind of connected with her. So
interesting.
And I love Ashley Burch. Like, let me be clear. Like, I love her as a voice actress. I just think that Christopher Judge is a really good.
Oh yeah, you're not going to beat him. He's going to win. I think Ashley Burch is fantastic, and like when you're playing that game, and you have like an NPC that you're talking to, she just dominates.
Yeah,
it's just like, okay, so here's the pro.
You
know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are a lot of great voice actors in that game, but like
she's great in Mythic Quest. Like I like her as just like an actress, not even a voice actress. Just but
yeah, interesting. Yeah, I think that'll be clear cut, pretty easy. All right, here we go. We got best audio design. So this is recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Done.
Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Forbidden West. I agree. Call of Duty tends to win this category every year. And I think
it
this
used to be
is no
Battlefield,
different.
and then they redid it.
Yep.
They redid it in 2019. That's when Modern Warfare came out, right?
Yes.
And it was like, oh my gosh.
I think you're right. This might be the one category that Call of Duty wins.
I think, sure.
I think
it gets multiplayer, but maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, it might. Yeah, true. I don't think there's a lot of strong multiplayer. So I agree with you. The sound design in Call of Duty is always spectacular.
Yeah. And to be fair, we never played Ragnarok yet. So maybe that's.
Yeah, but dude, even you were talking about like specifically when you're playing that game, how you're so in tune with the different sounds around you. Mm-hmm. Like you literally heard, I think you were talking about, you heard someone click a button on their silent steps.
Yeah.
When you turn around or whatever. And so when you're that in tune with, and it's that in depth, I think that's saying something.
But if there's a sea serpent in the new God of War, that is one of the best sound design things I've ever experienced in video game.
Maybe God of War will literally just win everything.
Maybe.
Best score and music. This is outstanding music, inclusive of score, original song, and or licensed soundtrack. A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Metal Hellsinger, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Didn't play any of them except Metal Hellsinger. Wasn't a big fan.
Interesting.
It tries to be
Doom.
And
it's not.
It's not.
Yep.
And I think the fact that you have to fire on the beat of that music is tough. They do a cool thing with it.
Yeah.
I just don't. It didn't click with me.
Yeah, I think it was an interesting attempt.
Yeah,
but
it was neat.
I didn't hear a lot of. Yeah, I didn't hear a lot of things about it, so I don't think it must have did.
It's like if you get, it's cool because you have music, and if you get your multiplier to a certain point, then the vocals come in, and that's a cool thing because like whenever you're hearing vocals, you know you're at like max, and that's kind of a neat touch. I just don't like it as much as Doom.
That's what they used to do for Rock Band. So like back in the day when you were playing Rock Band and you were like at the max level of the audience, they would sing along. And it was super. Yeah. I do love touches like that where it's like you are incentivized to get there. And I think Elden Ring wins this. The soundtrack to that game is pretty good. Yeah. So I think Elden Ring's. Although I haven't heard God of War's soundtrack, I'm sure it's amazing.
Yeah.
So we'll see on that. I think it go either way, which is going to be a theme here. So here we have best art direction. So this is for outstanding creative and or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. Mm-hmm. Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Scorn, and Stray.
Yeah. I think Stray is cool. I'm not ready to talk about it yet.
Okay.
I don't think that deserves to be on the list. I think Elden Ring looks bad. Now, there are some arguments to be made that there are certain scenarios where the lighting looks good and has a good ambiance. I think graphically and texturally, it's bad. It's a bad game.
Yeah.
From that, and I know people are already tuning out.
They hate you.
Yeah, but the textures look bad.
Okay, I will argue that
Demon Souls remaster looks better. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You can argue.
No, I was just going to say that the artistic design of it, I think, is actually very good.
I think yes, but it's poorly realized.
Technically.
Yeah.
On a technical level, but on an
isn't that part of the definition?
Level, no. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like artistically,
I haven't played it. I don't know. I mean,
artistically, scoring.
Did you not bump the
conversation?
Did you not bump the
Bumped
settings up?
It's all the way up.
Sure?
I absolutely.
Can
know,
you run it?
Can you run it on
Max?
I ran it and it ran like garbage.
So what do you think?
Do you not remember all of that? How stuttery it was when it first started, and some of those like, oh, maybe just drop down the. If you tell a PC player who has a max graphics card to drop the settings down, you screwed up.
Yeah, you lose.
Like,
yeah. People say that game's beautiful. I don't think it's the most amazing visually game, but I wouldn't say it's
Elden Ring has good lighting. Yeah. Good lighting, and I will always say this, good lighting can carry a game dramatic. Like if you look at Minecraft. Ray traced Minecraft looks better than a lot of high fidelity games. But everything else surrounding it, I argue is not.
Tyler, Elden Ring is going to win this category. I promise you. Yes, it will. No. Cheeseburger.
I'll give you a cheeseburger on that.
Dude, Elden.
I think Horizon beats it. If you look at a tree at Horizon and look at a tree in Elden Ring, they look like little dandelion puffballs. Meanwhile, Horizon, you walk, and Kyle was just talking about this, you walk up to a tree and you see ants crawling up the tree.
Yeah.
If you're talking from a technical aspect, how many times do you stop on, well, you never played it, but like, how many times do you stop on Elden Ring to take a screenshot because it's so pretty? Or versus something like Horizon, where I have my folder, like my OneDrive that's the only thing in my OneDrive because it automatically went there.
Yeah.
But I was just taking screenshot after screenshot after screenshot of how gorgeous.
Talking about the first one.
Horizon. Yeah. Okay. How Horizon
But in extension, the second one for this list.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
No.
I'm assuming the second one looks as good, if not better than the
first. It looks
first.
fantastic. Although, it's even though it's on PS5, it looks really good. But
I know we're running out of time.
I don't know, dude.
That's my argument.
I think Elden Ring wins this because of the world dynamic of it.
Sure.
People love the aesthetic of that world, and I do think it is cool. So
it's cool. I just think it could be better.
You hate the game. It's fine. I get it.
Solid 68.
Oh my God. You're really going to drop that now? Holy shit. You're not even going to wait till the end of the year?
How many we got left?
If my phone works, I'll tell you. It's got to be a couple. So best narrative.
Yeah.
This is for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, and Immortality. Now, I will argue, Elden Ring should not never win this category. Right. It shouldn't even be in there.
I agree.
Okay?
Yeah.
It is the worst narrative experience, in my opinion.
Again, having not played Requiem or God of War, I would assume it's going to be one of those two.
My money has to be on God of War.
Immortality was a live action one, so that might be something. That's on Game Pass. You can always play that. But,
interesting. Yeah. I don't think those ever work, but that's just my opinion.
I'm with you.
I do very much like Horizon Forbidden West, but just what I've heard of Ragnarok, my friend David's beat it already. He says it's better than the first one.
Perfect.
He's a fanboy, but...
I'm a fanboy.
Oh, no.
I want to play it.
It's a great game.
If I come across a base like PlayStation in the wild, with a slot, I'll buy it for.
Oh, don't do that to yourself.
Or Call of Duty, God of War.
Freudian slip there. Yeah. I think God of War Ragnarok deserves that probably.
Yeah, maybe. I either that or Requiem. We'll see.
Yep. Best game direction.
Mm-hmm.
This is awarded to the game for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Immortality, Stray.
I would actually vote for Elden Ring in this one.
Yep.
I think the vision and the granted, having not played God of War.
Yes. I think it's going to be Elden Ring or God of War. If Stray wins one, here's my hot take of the night. It's going to be this category.
I think it's going to be the indie one.
You're probably right.
I think you're right.
This is my long shot. This is my long shot. I think Stray might pull a crazy
That
upset.
is ludicrous.
I agree. I could just see it happening.
I can name 5 games that deserve to be on anything that Stray is on. I could probably name 5 games that deserve to be on it more than Stray.
Oh man, you're such a hater.
Stray is well. Go ahead.
We're not there. Sorry, no, we've been waiting. Game of the year.
All right, hit me with the game of the year.
This is recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields.
Yeah.
A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Yeah.
Tell me why Stray deserves this category.
It does not deserve this category. I like cats. I have 3 of them. They're going crazy right now.
You might be able to hear them on the recording.
I was just talking about Stray either the last episode or the episode before that. I know we have like 2 minutes to talk through. My whole thing with Stray is it's a neat story. It has some good cat animations. You get to be a cat. That's it. So I will say Limbo, a neat packaged game. Inside, a neat packaged game. It's not even by the same developer or anything, but that's the type of game that Stray is, right?
Yeah.
There are some moments where I smirked. There are some okay dialogue. They do a lot of the traversal well. It's not game of the it's not even in the conversation. I mean, it's obviously in the conversation because they put it in there. I don't understand why that is in the conversation over your Neon White. Honestly, I don't even understand why that's in the conversation over something like a Tiny Tina. Like, I think that pushed what Borderlands was more than what Stray did, right? And I don't want to crap all over Stray because I think Stray is good. The fact that a game like Tinykin is not even mentioned anywhere in any of these categories is just a travesty in my opinion. I think Tinykin is one of the best games that came out this year. So I don't know. Stray is nuts to me. I think that is one of the most overhyped games that you could play.
Wow.
In 2022.
That's heavy.
I know. I'm sorry. We're running out of time.
Is Stray better than Elden Ring?
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Wow.
Yeah. No, you should definitely play Stray over Elden. No, I'm kidding. No, whatever my feelings on Elden Ring are.
Yeah.
Elden Ring, I can accept and understand why.
No, you don't understand.
I would be shocked if Elden Ring doesn't win. Personally. I will truly be shocked if it doesn't win.
I wouldn't be shocked because God of War is the only game that is going to give Elden Ring. We thought Elden Ring was
just running away with it. Yeah.
But God of War is there.
To be fair, we also thought Elden Ring was going to go up against Starfield.
True.
So there was Elden Ring's competition kind of thinned out a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair.
The fact that Call of Duty, look at sheer numbers, right?
Yeah.
Call of Duty should be on this list over Stray. I think Neon White should be on that list. I think Tinykin should be on that list. There are plenty of games. Honestly, I would take Tunic well over Stray. Over Stray. Again,
are you okay with
nice.
Are you okay with the other selections on the list?
Well, I never played Requiem, so who knows?
It's hyped, right? I mean, it's everywhere.
Yeah, and I think poor Horizon they just pick terrible times to come out. It went up against Breath of the Wild. What are you going to do with that?
I 100% agree. I was just going to talk about that. Any other year that it would be right there.
Yeah.
This year just gets crushed.
Yeah.
Elden Ring and God of War, dude. That's so sad.
I think if anything, Requiem is going to be that weird, they tend to pick some weird stuff, right? I think Sekiro was one year and stuff, and it's like they take these niche games that people really like, and they're oh, here it is. If Stray wins this, let me tell you how.
What will you do if Stray wins Game of the Year?
I will, if Twitter's still up, I'm going to tweet something
that'll get you banned.
Angry. I don't know.
All right. I think Elden Ring wins.
I think you're right.
I think I wouldn't be totally shocked if God of War pulled it out. And if it's anything else, I would be flabbergasted.
Yeah.
So I think that's where we're at.
I think you should prepare yourself to be flabbergasted.
No, really?
No
way.
I think they like to do
Tyler,
that, man.
Elden Ring has to win this.
All right.
It has to.
I think you're right. And I think it deserves to. The gaming community
would not be able to handle it.
I think Elden Ring deserves to win this. I will go on, regardless of my feelings of Elden Ring, I think they deserve to win it.
It did too much. It did too much. It did too much. So I will play Elden Ring at some point.
All right.
As soon as it comes to Game Pass.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I will probably pony up for it. And we just need someone to argue for that game because no one will listen to us ever again if we give it a 68.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I have to give it like 120 now to level it out a little bit. Yeah. So, all right, there we go. That's the Game Awards. It's premieres on December 8th, I think. So I was correct. Nice. Yeah. December 8th. So stay tuned for that. We'll probably watch that and talk about it and then report on the results. But stay tuned for our own couch. The Sophies. I think is our title as of right now before we think of something else.
The Couch Koopies.
That's funny. And that'll be sometime this year. And I need to make sure I finish my games. And Tyler's filled his quota and more. He's going to get a nice fat bonus this year. And that's all we have. We are late for dinner. And we appreciate you joining us. If you made it this far, always appreciated. Check us out on couchcompany.games. Leave us 5 stars on Spotify.
Yep.
But yeah, couchcompany.games has all our links, our YouTube, our Twitter, our top 5 lists, and everything like that. We're going to have a top 5 next week for you.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. Thanks for joining us on the couch. We'll see you same time, same place next week. Peace.